Oh, that's not quite how I want it. Do a little bit of adjustment. Yeah, how about that? Actually, looks pretty good. All right, cool. Well, hopefully everybody's able to get in here today. I'm doing my normal little Wednesday live stream. Also, if anybody can, let me know when you drop through here. If you guys can hear me good, forgive the stain that's on my sweatshirt. But I'm back at it again with my Wednesday live, talking about fragrances and anything else with you guys. Going to do a little live fragrance reviews. For anybody who drops through here this morning, while I'm still going to keep waiting for you guys to get here before I really get started, I've decided from now on top of doing my weekly actual review during these live streams, I'm going to throw in some like genuine reviews with you guys as well. Anything you guys want to see me actually talk about, I'm going to do that. But after I get some people in here, I decided from now on, I think I'm going to start these off with like a little bit of prayer, because I want to introduce more and more who I am and my beliefs into these things. But yeah, you got all these fragrances right here I'm going to talk about today. So anybody who comes through here, we're just going to be doing some genuine and general reviews of stuff, and just talking about life. But every Wednesday, if you guys stop through here, I'm always going to be doing these streams and reviewing any fragrances in my collection, taking note of any fragrances you guys would like to see me review. So yeah, comment, let me know what you'd like to talk about. But I'm going to wait till I get a few more people in here, and then we're really going to get cranking. Although I might take this sweatshirt off because it's got a nice little stain. And if anybody who drops through before I get too far into this can let me know if you can hear me, if my microphone's working pretty well. And these newer microphones, every now and then they kind of go in and out. But today, I'm going to be doing genuine, like overall reviews of Vulcan Feu, or I think some people pronounce it Vulcan Feu, but I've heard it's pronounced properly Vulcan Feu by French Avenue. Same company who makes Liquid Brew. I'm also going to be going over some of my personal favorite fragrances. I've done that before already, but there's a couple that I guess I didn't really dive into that I've been recently falling back in love with again, especially things like Versace Eros. I talked about that a lot in my last stream when people were asking me some like fragrance suggestions, especially for young people getting started. And I kind of totally forgot how much I love Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I forgot after like getting into like a lot of niche perfumery and also like cheapies and stuff as well. I had forgotten for a while how much I really loved Versace Eros Parfum, how much I had a passion for like Armani Code Parfum. These are classic designer fragrances. And I'm starting to feel like, this just might be my opinion, I'm starting to feel like in the fragrance world that people are getting way too deep into either Middle Eastern dupes or that, hey, Sarthak, good morning, buddy. Good morning. I love those emojis that you posted. Let me know, Sarthak, if you can hear me pretty good, if I'm coming through fairly clear with my microphone. But as usual, welcome, my friend. I'm so happy to see you here doing my little live stream, talking about fragrances and everything else. But yeah, if you can, just let me know if I'm coming through pretty good. And I appreciate that. So I don't want to be like yelling in you guys' ears or anything. These microphones that I got are like either extremely well sensitive. Yeah, super clear. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarthak, for letting me know. Anybody else who drops through here during my stream for however long I'm going today, you're all welcome to comment, ask me questions, just talk, share your thoughts or whatever. But again, going to be just doing like, I thought about it, and even though I post like an actual review every week, and then every morning I do a fragrance of the day, at the same time, I thought from now on, when I do these weekly live streams that are not just like a single 5 to 10 minute review of a single fragrance, I'm going to also, in between talking about life and other things, actually just do straight up reviews of these fragrances as you see, to kind of give you guys an idea as you ask questions about what these really are. But yeah, general update, by the way, for anybody who watches, my grandma is still in hospice. She has not passed away yet. It is going to happen. She's been steadily getting weaker. What's up, Maddie? Good morning, my friend. But yeah, my grandma has been steadily getting weaker. She hasn't eaten, supposedly, like hasn't had any food in about 8 or 9 days, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. And she's barely drinking water. So for anybody who's been keeping up with what's going on in my personal life, that's just what's happening. Things aren't going so well. And obviously, we're just waiting for that time to come. So it's always tough waiting for something very negative to happen. but it's going to be okay. But yeah, so you guys are here to talk about everything with me, and especially fragrances. So if you guys have questions, please go ahead and throw them out there. Thank you so much, Sarthak, for saying that. I really appreciate that. I tried this out at work the other day, by the way. It's Vulcan Feu. So again, I've been seeing people talk about this one so much. Hi, DMF. I don't know what DMF is, but thank you so much again, Maddie, for being here. Thank you for commenting. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and throw this out there. Oh, Douglas Moon. I'm so stupid. Wow, Douglas Moon Fragrance. Good morning, Maddie. Thank you for saying that. Wow. But I just want to talk about this one, though, because I was, honestly, the more I've had this, the more I've thought about this, I really do enjoy the bottle. My wife chuckled because she thinks it's cool as well, but she also feels like it's a little tacky. But your profile photo looks elegant. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. So the actual photo here is from me when me and my wife got married. It's been almost 2 years. When we got married, the photo that you see on my pages, basically all the Douglas Moon pages except like the TikTok, it's from our wedding. It's like we were both like in much better shape. I was like 35 pounds lighter and wearing my fancy little suit. My wife even suggested it might be good for me to start wearing my suits while I do these things because it might make me look more professional. Right now I look like Adam Sandler, like a homeless person. Not that Adam Sandler looks like a homeless person, but anyway, yeah, as I was saying, this really disappointed me because when I kept seeing people on TikTok, which I am starting to think I don't want to keep making videos there. I only started doing TikTok videos and reviews of fragrances, like doing my daily thing, because I've been suggested by a lot of people that TikTok is good. I've been suggested by a lot of people that it would actually help me grow, like because YouTube's already doing pretty well. So I started a TikTok. But to be honest with you, I don't like the vibe of the fragrance community over there. Like people seem nice enough, and there's a lot of decent creators, but there also is a lot of people like overly, like, I know they use the word glaze. There's a lot of people over there who are gassing up these kind of fragrances way too much. And I myself, after I like doing niche, I like doing designer. Good morning, buddy. Good morning, Jonathan. What's up, buddy? Real quick, I'm going to answer Sarthak before I keep going. Do I love vetiver fragrances? To be honest with you, I don't love them. I think vetiver is a decent scent profile. It's a decent material. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that is something that I really love and that I go for. If I could, vetiver, and then even like things with patchouli in it. I like patchouli as like a back note with some stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I go for things like that very much. Those are profiles that don't speak to me too very well unless they are properly blended with something else. I saw a fragrance called Pure Vetiver when I was at the store the other day when I was walking around the mall. And when I got my nose on it, I was like, this really isn't for me. But yeah, you guys, again, as usual, ask questions. Tell me what's been going on in your life. I'd love to like catch up with you guys and get to know a little bit more about how things have been going your way. But in the meantime, yeah, like I was saying, starting the TikTok thing, I've been enjoying using it as like an easy way to just do a quick short video when I do my fragrance of the days every morning. But I really am starting not to like the overall community over there, because every fragrance creator that I see over there, except for like smaller creators, who are trying to grow, they keep talking about fragrances like this as if it's the best thing in the world. And I'm starting not to like that. I want to encourage, as I always will, like people who, this is where I keep all my dupes, like Middle Eastern fragrances. There are some over here like Latafa Hamra, which I really do love that one. I think it's a fantastic fragrance. But something that keeps not getting talked about as much as it probably should with these cheaper fragrances compared to the more like designer and niche is being honest about their depth. So there's a lot of fragrances that are on the cheaper end, like Liquid Broom and so forth, that do a great job at what they're meant to do. But we can't ignore the fact that a lot of them are very much missing. Hold on, wait. I'm sure you, Jeremy Fragrance. Yeah, he sure is a maniac about fragrances. What's up, brother? Hold on, I want to try it. I said Rodriguez Music Most Vetiver. I have not heard of that one, but thank you for bringing that up, Redbeard. I will have to check that out because I don't even have a lot of vetiver forward fragrances. So I'd like to kind of get my nose on more of those because some of them are blended in a way that I might really appreciate. But for the most part, a large portion of the fragrances that I have don't really feature it. I don't remember very well, so I can't be quoted on this, but I'm almost positive. So this is that Terre d'Hermès. This is the Eau de Parfum, something like that. I only got a little bottle of it because I know a lot of people talk about how great of a fragrance this is supposed to be. And to be real with you, I'm not a huge fan. I'm really not a huge fan of this. I don't think this is one of the best fragrances of all time, although people have said that it's absolutely fantastic. But it has a vetiver note in it, I believe. And real quick, I am going to talk about, before I get back to my thoughts and feelings about the dupes and things like that, Middle Eastern fragrances, I do want to talk about Stronger With You Parfum, because I just got this the other day, and I had a sample bottle of Intensely, and I had smelled Absolutely when I went to the store. So my buddy Sam at work, who I talk about a lot, he had Intensely by Stronger With You, and I thought, it's pretty nice, but I don't think it's necessarily for me. I don't know if it's something I would have. But when I went to the store and on my birthday, or the day before my birthday, my friend Delaney over there at Nordstrom Rack, he went back over with me a lot of the fragrances, and we saw Stronger With You Parfum, and I smelled it, and I was like, wow, this edition, I actually like. I didn't want to just get it just because of the hype or whatever, because I know some creators are talking about it right now because it's newer. But I smelled it, and I thought, I really do like this one most than the rest of them. So I knew immediately I had to get it. And Stronger With You, a nutty fragrance. Could you please recommend a gentleman classy fragrance other than Blue de Chanel? To be honest with you, I think this would do the trick. If you want something that's like a classy gentleman's type of fragrance, that this is even newer and more bold. This is, like my buddy, you asked me, Sarthak, is this a nutty fragrance? It is, because one of the main things going for this, okay, to be more specific, it has a nutty feel underneath it, because this is supposed to have like a chestnut type of accord running through it, and you can smell that, but really what you get as the opener, and then as well, it's like in the middle range after you sprayed it and it's starting to dry down, you get that chestnut feel. But for me personally, the very opener, you get that bright mandarin. It's supposed to be like a kind of a vanilla-y, leathery mandarin type of feel, as well as pink pepper at the top. Once you get through that, you start getting that chestnut kind of running through the center. But after it officially, hey, Maddie, hey, thank you for saying hey to everybody. Once that chestnut feeling starts to kind of wear off, it becomes a very light feel underneath it, that praline type of sweetness going underneath it, blended mostly with that beautiful, it's different, like the way the mandarin feel is. It's a different take. I've smelled a lot of fragrances, like when you think of orange, there's different types of orange profiles. You can kind of think about like blood orange that shows itself, or like that burnt blood orange that's kind of prevalent in Versace Eros Flame. But you don't get that type of feel. This is genuinely that sweet, creamy mandarin feel that you get with this. And I thought this was going to be a lot more of it, especially because of the color. I personally thought this was going to be a lot more of that nutty gourmand feel. But yet, even though that is in there, this is like a beautiful, creamy, mildly like undertone of cinnamon, but not done in like a hamra type of way. This is just a very beautiful, almost mandarin bubblegum. It's like a creamy cinnamon mandarin bubblegum. And it blew me away. And like the other day, I experienced, me and my wife for my birthday, we went to a Spanish restaurant, and I use that loosely because there was like not a single Spanish person of any ethnicity in the place. It was all white people. But they had a dessert that I never heard of. I don't remember how to say it properly, so I'm not going to even try. But it was like a money bag that had inside of it blended bananas and guava with cinnamon. And on the outside, it was fried tortilla with cinnamon around it. I'd never had cinnamon and banana before. I don't know why, because you would think that'd be something people probably do. People here in America especially make banana and peanut butter sandwiches, things like that. There's also banana pancakes. But I never had them with cinnamon before. And when I had this blend together, it was just like something very unique. And I like the way the cinnamon was in it. And you start to notice when you take spices like cardamom, cinnamon, and things like that, and blend it with other things, you kind of get a very interesting profile sometimes that can completely change the way it feels. So compared to Sauvage Elixir, which I think is in the same family as this, although Sauvage Elixir is way more powerful overall as a performer, like radiance, than this is. When you think about that versus, again, like a Latafa Hamra, which is like a cinnamon cookie type of feel, it comes back to me where this is like cinnamon is a back note that just gives backbone and strength to this, whereas that bright orange pink pepper is mostly what you get from this. But this is becoming slowly one of my favorite fragrances that I've ever got my nose on, because something about this is different. I've smelled so many fragrances this past year where, to be honest with you, they all kind of start running together. So you can smell their differences, but especially like I was going to say earlier, when I started collecting these cheapies, for the sake of being able to do like comparisons and dupe and clone videos, I started like buying a bunch of cheapies just because, again, price wise, it's not hard to do. A lot of younger creators who are trying to get themselves started out will tend to stick with these over something like this because obviously you don't just have the money to do this. But even this can add up. You see all these fragrances right here. You see I've got a lot of Lattafa, French Avenue, and all that. Even those can start to really compile as far as prices go. So you got to kind of think about, when I spend my money, what do I really want? So instead of being a content creator, if you are just a normal person who's trying to gather up fragrances, I am starting to think the advice that I would like to give to you is to save your money. I know that you want that hyped up smell now. I know you want to have that fragrance that everybody's talking about like right now, because I'm the same way, especially in the fragrance game. As I'm trying to do these videos, my thoughts obviously go to, if I see something's popular. So again, if I see something like this that just came out and people are talking about it, you naturally kind of want to get the jump on it. Then you want to know like, hey, I want to have that. I want to test it out and wear it. But it's not really obviously financially the wisest thing to do to just buy whatever is currently popular. But as well, I always try to take it back to the point that fragrances need to be something that means something to you. You don't need to just be wearing whatever because it's out there. You don't need to have 1,000 fragrances if you're not a content creator. If I wasn't making videos and I didn't do this, as much as I love perfumery, I wouldn't be doing this either. I wouldn't have all these because I wouldn't have a need to have them. So real quick, any clone of Stronger With You, because it would just empty my wallet if I buy the original. To be honest with you, I'm sure that there's clones and dupes out there for Stronger With You, but I'm not going to recommend any because I haven't tried any, and I don't know if they would be worth it. I don't have any, as always, that I can recommend for you, because even myself, recently, I've been, again, continuing to compare like dupes and clones with the originals to see how they make me feel. And for instance, this is not supposed to be exactly this. So this is Maison Francis Kurkdjian Oud Silk Mood. You guys have seen me talk about that a lot. It's one of my favorite fragrances in the world. This, on the other hand, is, who is this? French Fragrance World. So Fragrance World Maison Eau de Parfum. This is supposed to be like it says Barakat Satin Oud. So this is its own kind of twist on the satin oud version over the oud silk mood. If you know Maison Francis Kurkdjian, there's 2 editions. Oud silk mood is more of a bright rosy type of fragrance feel, like a I guess you could say it's like a damask rose type of feel, Turkish rose type of feel. But oud satin mood is a little bit more of a cinnamon type of oudy feel, and this is supposed to be a take on that. But I'm not going to lie to you, it smells great, but at the same time, these cheaper fragrances just don't perform the way that you would like them to. Even if they smell right, when you're going to spend the price, you really get what you pay for. Have I lost weight? To be real with you, I have not. I've lost like 1 pound, I think, but I want to lose more weight. At this point, I have been me and my wife just started, since we moved into this house, so I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I'm going to tell you guys some like personal stuff, as I always do, but I'm going to kind of get into it. Before we moved, our house, originally our old house, which is like an hour and some change away from here, it was on the market for like 7 months, because right now, I don't know if you guys know this, but especially like the political climate in the world sucks. And here in America, it definitely was not the easiest thing financially and everything, just to try to make any decisions, especially with interest rates, if you guys know anything about that kind of stuff. So we listed our house because we were able to sell it for a better price than what we had left on it. On the other hand, it took a very long time for anybody to even be able to buy it, especially where we were living at. It was just a difficult situation trying to get it to actually sell. But guess what? When you're waiting for 6 months and you're living in a house, or 6 or 7 months, and you're living in a house that doesn't really have any furniture, but you also can't make it stinky because every single day people are coming to see it and you want it to smell good. Basically, at my old house, or me and my wife's old house, while it was in the process of selling for 6 or 7 months, we were just eating out every day because cooking in the house made it smell weird. And we were constantly under the impression that when people were coming to test it out, we didn't want it to stink and potentially put them off. That might sound dumb to you, but that's kind of how it was. So me and my wife basically gained most of our weight this past like 7 months, or it's been 3 months since we've been in the new house, but we gained most of our weight while we were waiting for the old house to sell. And since we've been in the new house, also we kind of have made a habit of eating out, especially because we drive an hour to and from work. So it's just kind of easy to grab something on the way home. So we recently, I know this isn't going to be the healthiest thing ever, but it's better than eating out every day when you live in America and all you got's mostly fast food. But we recently bought like a bunch of heat up meals, so lean cuisines and all that junk. So that's kind of what we've been doing. And it's helped lose a little bit of weight because you gain weight really fast when you're eating like burgers and crap every day. Plus, it's not good for the insides. So I have lost just a pinch of weight. We're working on it. You'll be jacked in just 3 months by hitting the gym. I definitely appreciate you saying that. Because originally I was like 270 some pounds, like 272 pounds, like 7 years ago. And pretty much when I quit drinking, when I quit smoking, to anybody who's dropping through here who hasn't watched before, Sunday, it was 7 years since I quit drinking and smoking and all that stuff. I had lost 115 pounds, something like that, over the course of 7 months. I wasn't starving myself or nothing. I just exercised every day. That's basically what I did. Well, I kind of, like I said, me and my wife, we started eating bad. You gain weight back. It is what it is. But also, I'm getting a little bit older. I lost most of all my weight in Tennessee during the summer. I lost some. In the winter, I gained it back. Now I lost all. I used to weigh 310. Wow, that's awesome, dude. Thank you. I'm so glad you told me that. I love seeing people whose journeys involved in like losing weight or like trying to take care of themselves in any kind of way. Because in life, it's hard not to want to indulge. It's hard in life not to want to, even fragrances, right? Fragrances in some way is just like delicious food. Like when you find something that you like, it can be really easy to become obsessed with stuff. I know that when I say this is going to make me sound crazy as somebody who has like all these fragrances right here. But these literally, like I said, most of these were simply just for videos and for reviews and stuff like that. Again, I would not have all of these if I wasn't doing content and trying to chase this and continue to pursue it. But me personally, like fragrances is just like food. When you find stuff you like and when you just keep adding to it and making the list bigger and bigger, it's difficult not to become hooked on things and kind of do more stuff than you should. But yeah, being hot, when it's hot outside, it definitely, especially if you got like good places just to be, just to walk or something like that, you can lose a lot of weight fast. When I lost 117 pounds, that literally was just from me walking every day. Ironically, when me and my wife started going to the actual gym for a while and like doing weights and stuff, I just started like gaining more weight, not just muscle, but lifting weights and junk made me like for me personally, I can't speak for you, but lifting weights at the time when I was doing that it made me extremely hungry. But my wife couldn't lose it. She had to get gastric bypass. Oh, I hate to hear that. I'm glad. Hopefully the gastric bypass surgery was at least helpful. Thank you, Sarthak, for saying that. Where to get Vulcan Feu? It's sold out everywhere. You're in the USA. Well, Jeff, I appreciate you for asking. By the way, again, to anybody who stops by, you're going to hear me talk a lot during these live streams about just life stuff, and it can be pretty boring for some people coming through. So if you guys stop through and have actual questions about fragrance and stuff, feel free to get into that. But Jeff, basically, I personally got this from the actual French Avenue seller from Amazon. So I'm not sure if they have any more. When I got this, it literally said there was only like 4 left. So if you go to Amazon, be careful on things like Amazon, because a lot of times if you don't look at who's selling it, there can be places selling fake stuff. If somebody's selling fake versions of something this cheap, that's really pitiful. And I got to throw my finger at that. But basically, for me personally, this right here, I got off of Amazon, and it was like when there only was a few left, but I got it directly from the seller. So I know that these are going really fast right now, and people are having a really hard time getting their hands on these. But at the same time, I will tell you ahead of time, this is why I wanted to do this video, because fragrances like this, I'm starting to notice it's just not really worth purchasing. Thoughts on Armani Code Colonial. And then my mom's back here, so if anybody drops through again, everybody feel free to say hey to my mom. Eat carbs before workout and protein after. That's true, but but if you do like weightlifting and stuff like that, my personal experience, and also like I'm friends with a couple people who are personal trainers and bodybuilders, and they straight up say, for whatever reason, even though protein is what helps build the muscle, when you do things like walking or even like a light jog, if you do walking or a light jog, that mostly burns that gives you the ability to just burn general calories and fat. If you do things like heavy lifting, like heavy weightlifting and stuff, say I went in and I just did like 15, 20 pounds and I did curls. I am a 5'11" man. I just did curls. Say you do something like that. At the end of the day, you're going to burn a little bit, but overall the glucose that burns, that's kind of what I was going to get to. Burning glucose is something that can lead to being more ravenously hungry for carbs and sweets. When you do heavy weights and stuff, that actually, the heavier you go, the more muscle that you break down, that can cause like the release of glucose, from what I've been told by my friends who like are in the more professional field. And that leads to you, instead of craving protein, which you got to force yourself to eat, Instead, you can end up wanting to eat more like sweet things. That's why you see people drinking like Gatorades and crap like that, or want something sugary, or like a lot of protein shakes to make them palatable. But also, it's not very helpful that they're like vanilla and confetti cake and all that stuff. But have I smelled? My buddy who asked about Armani Code Colonial. I haven't smelled Armani Code Colonial. But thank you for mentioning that. It's like there's so many that I've never got my nose on. Even with all the fragrances that I have, there's so many I've never personally smelled. Have I smelled Paris Corner's Mango Bliss? So here's the thing about that. Mango Bliss is actually going to be showing up supposedly either today or tomorrow. I ordered it from their seller, their reputable retailer, and it somehow got lost in shipping. So they sent me a message letting me know they're sending another one. I'm interested in smelling Mango Bliss because, to be honest with you guys, again, this one is, as the days have gone on, this one has really disappointed me. I wanted to love this one because I love the smell. I'm going to be real with you. The smell is not the most exciting thing in the world. It's odd because it is different in some form or fashion. You know what? The best way I can word this is only different if you think of this as a men's fragrance. Just getting completely straight with you guys. This is only unique to you if you think about this particular type of profile being a men's fragrance. If you put your nose on this and you're honest with yourself, immediately this smells like if you've ever smelled a lot of women's perfumery. I don't know if you have, but I've smelled a lot of women's perfumery over time, just testing them out. And as well, having a lot of friends, female friends who wear perfume. And there are notes in this, the way the overall profile comes to be with the mango and ginger, compared to when I smell things like Herba Pura and Herba Gold, which are bright, citrusy, and have a feminine feel to them. There's also just that tropical unisex vibe. When you smell this, if you are trying to go into it imagining this is a new, distinct type of men's profile smell, it's not. It's just a woman's fragrance repackaged into either a unisex or a men's profile. But when I smell it, it's not unique, it's not special, it's not distinct. I also don't expect a lot of people to be supportive of me saying that. That's fine. I'm not here to be controversial. I'm just here to be honest with you guys. So I don't expect people to agree with me, especially because this is being hyped up by a lot of people's favorite, creators. But as I have given this time and I've tried this out, me and the other people around me, especially like at my job, people in my close circle, I brought this around with me and let different people try it. They think it's a nice enough smell, but it's just not unique enough to justify it, especially because it just came out. It's so hard to get your hands on because everybody's buying it. But it's also like $55 or $60 for a fragrance like this. It's just not worth that money. Hold on, let me answer some stuff real quick before I keep going. But again, I got Mango Bliss coming in, and I'm excited to try that because it was definitely cheaper than this. But I've also heard that, really Vulcan Feu disappoint. Everyone's hyping this up. So let me see. First of all, thank you again, Redbeard, for letting me know. I'm happy that you walked all those steps. That makes me super proud that you worked that hard because, like I said, I've fallen off the walking track, literally stopped doing it for a while because me and my wife have been so busy. I work 10-hour days when I do my job. Again, I'm off Wednesdays. I was off last week because of my birthday, but I normally work 10-hour shifts. So it's definitely a little rough trying to convince yourself to keep going exercising when you get tired. And the fragrance smells heavenly, but doesn't last that long. Good morning, F. Torrey. My grandmother, thank you for asking. She is actually not doing very good. She hasn't passed yet, but she definitely is not doing very good at all. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but thank you for asking. Thank you for being here. And yeah, that's for me. I have to walk all day at work, so it's hard to make yourself do it some more later on. This is a clone of God of Fire. So thank you, Path, for bringing that up. And to Jeff here, who said, yes, this disappointed me. So yeah, to be completely real with you guys, and again, not to be controversial so that you'll give me likes and views. I'm being honest. As you see, I love niche perfumery. I love designer perfumery, but I'm not always going to push it. That's just the best thing in the world. You need to go spend all your money over cheapies because there are good cheapies out there. But by and large, they're not always having as much depth as the originals. And for this personally, I don't even really like God of Fire that much, but I can see why it was well enough constructed as a fragrance in the note profiles. But this one, I think this actually does smell to me better than God of Fire as a constructed scent profile, but it just doesn't perform. Every creator I keep seeing keeps talking about how this is like nuclear. I have seen so many people, like I said, people on TikTok are full of crap. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I don't have anything to lose, and it doesn't really matter. If you guys don't like hearing me talk about it, it is what it is. But if you've got any common sense, no offense to you guys watching, but if you've got the mildest amount of common sense, and when you're watching these reviews, please start using that common sense. Because these reviewers, like most reviewers, not all of them, but most reviewers on TikTok especially, but some as well on YouTube, are just trying to sell you crap. So let me see, brother, suggest something with a tropical green. I will do that just a second. But again, if you literally look in like the bottom corners and stuff, you can see very often that people on TikTok and junk are like selling these fragrances for these companies. So I do like French Avenue as a company well enough, because Liquid Brune is awesome. It's great. I like Coco Morado. Azure Oud was pretty okay. But being straight up with you guys, people who keep telling you this is amazing, that like the smell, they might really love the smell. I don't know. But isn't it kind of interesting to you how when you guys are looking through TikTok and all that crap and you see these creators, doesn't it make you think, like they keep saying everything they smell is so good. They keep telling you, you've got to get your hands on this. Oh, the originals, they're okay. Oh, the original's okay. But then this one right here is the best thing in the world. You got to get your nose on it. Yes, as a creator in general, I would like you guys who don't have a lot of money to spend, I would like to tell you that there are cheap fragrances that are worth the money. So again, if you want that out there type of vibe, this same company making Liquid Brune that I've got back here, or Hot Lodge has Vanilla Dunes, I'll tell you all day long that it's worth buying, because they have incredible performance. They've got that richness and variation complexities when it comes to the smell profile of something out there. But a lot of these fragrances like this as well, you've got to weed through when they're being honest or they're just sponsored, because some of them are awesome. But like the new Hamraz by Lattafa, I've got the original, I've got Kawa, and I've got the new Dukan. Okay, and to be real with you, I've already seen 10 creators in the past week on TikTok talking about how you've got to get the new Dukan. Now, I've seen a few, be honest, but I've also seen most of like the biggest. I'm not going to name names because, again, it doesn't really matter. Good morning. Good morning, Krishna Tetri. Hopefully I said your name right. Good morning. Thank you for being here. But yeah, being straight up, even with like the new Hamra by Lattafa, I've seen a lot of creators talk about how it's so good. Oh, it's so different. You got to get it. If you've already got the original, if you've already got Kawa, it's not redundant for you to buy it. I've seen a lot of creators say that crap. And again, they're saying stuff just because they're sponsored. I mean, if Lattafa was to start sending me free stuff, I'd be thankful for that. But I'm just being real with you. You are a content creator. I know I'm a content creator. But every content creator is different. Everybody who makes these reviews and stuff, they have their own opinions. So when I talk about other creators, I'll never say names unless I'm just like know them personally or cracking jokes or like I'm inspired by them. But you guys can do your own, like judging with yourself. But I'm just saying to be careful, because when it comes to these cheap fragrances, or even like sometimes expensive fragrances, I'm an editor. I personally don't need an editor, but I appreciate you making the offer. And I also can't afford to pay anybody right now to do my editing, because I know that can be pretty expensive. But anyway, again, if you guys come through here and you got questions, I'll answer your questions. If you comment and stuff, I'm always here to answer your questions. But yeah, I know I beat this horse over and over and over again. But Dukan is a pass for me. I had a full bottle of Kawa and gave it away. So personally, I actually do like Kawa. At least I like the way it smells, but I'm starting to realize more and more that it's not something that I personally will put on. So here's something that I want to say to you guys straight up. If you're interested in perfumery, we're going to set aside how much stuff costs, kind of. I want to be real. If you can't afford like higher price stuff, but you do want to smell nice, then that's totally okay. If the best you can do is Lattafas and French Avenue and all that stuff, there's plenty of great options if that's the best you can personally do. I don't want to ever tell somebody, don't buy something if you literally can't do more, because you shouldn't break the bank just because you want to smell good. On the other hand, if you really want to build a collection, it's going to take time. It should take time. It's like getting good at guitar. If you want to build up a collection, bro, you missed my comment up there. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Suggest something. I'm sorry. Suggest something tropical, green, and fresh vibe. Well, real quick, I'm going to get back to what I was saying, but real quick, I will say, even though I'm kind of bashing on cheap stuff, this right here is obviously like Island by Hot Lodge. This is, again, that pina colada-y type of tropical feel. I actually do really like this because, again, I have La Bola Parfum. If you can afford it, if you're okay with it, because it's not that expensive for a designer price. I think it's in like in American US dollars, it's like the 130 range. If you can spare like 130 to 140 US dollars, you can get you a decent bottle. I think even certain sites have it for like 120, 115. You can get La Bola Parfum if you want the original. I will be honest, the original La Bola Parfum performs way better than this. Again, anyone who says that this performs better than Le Beau de Parfum. Now, Le Beau Eau de Toilette, yeah, but anybody who tells you this performs better than Le Beau de Parfum, they're lying. Okay, they're just straight up telling you a bunch of crap just to be. Again, they're probably sponsored. Who knows? They might have got free stuff. They're just trying to be extra nice or whatever. Maybe they're trying to help you guys who don't have a lot of money be, more enthusiastic about buying it, and that's fine. But excuse me, I will tell you, if you've got like 30 to 40, I think this is like 45 or $50. If you've got 40 or $50 to buy this, depending on how long it took you to have that spare money, save for a couple more weeks and get the real thing. Because if you can get something that is the real deal and overall has like a better power to it, better formulation, more richness and complexity, better ingredients, then what you'll get in return is, let's say that this one, you say, okay, I spent $45 on this. Maybe I don't mind putting 6, 10, however many sprays you want to put on so that it really stays with you. But let's say that you save the money for a couple more weeks or a few more months and you got Le Beau de Parfum, and you only have to apply 4 to 5 good sprays, which is true. 3 to 4 or so sprays is all it takes on clothing to make the original Le Beau de Parfum stay for actual weeks. I've washed my clothes after wearing it and it's still coming off of it. So there is a difference between certain fragrances, not all of them, but certain fragrances if you spend the money to get the real deal. For those who have a lot of money to spare, I personally love Scentbird. Yeah, my mom, she's, by the way, not sponsored by anything either, but she's recommending, if you see Donna Lane, that's my mom, by the way, so her recommending Scentbird. Thoughts on Vanilla Dunes? So I'll get back to that. Hold on, let me try to keep up with these comments. Clones are starting to get expensive. I really like OG Humra, but never feel the urge to wear it. Okay, so I'll kind of run through everything that you guys just said as the best that I can. So with that being said, that's kind of what I was trying to talk about earlier, is me personally, when it comes down to it, these fragrances, like the cheaper ones, like the Humra and stuff, there are some like that are pretty awesome. It's great to smell out of the bottle. But unless you are the type of person who, like, again, throwing on cheap stuff just to go to work, that's perfectly okay. I work around fragrances. I also like to wear nice things that just make me feel good. So fragrances that I personally love, even if they're more expensive, I'll do just a little just for myself. But if you want to smell really good going to work every day, especially if you get pretty sweaty, obviously buying cheaper things and putting that on is a great choice because it'll help you save money. You don't want to just burn through stuff. That is if you are the type of person who wears fragrance every day. But just throwing this out there, though, a lot of us who really love fragrances, and the more you have like exposure to really good perfumery and your nose becomes more refined, you do start to get that feel where you'll spend a lot of money on cheap fragrances and stuff. You'll spend a lot of money on dupes just to kind of find yourself never feeling like wearing it. And again, this is why I tell people, unless you are a real collector, which if that's the case, most likely, real true non-content creator collectors tend to not buy a bunch of cheap fragrances just to have them. Real true non-content creator collectors of perfumery, or most things out in the world, don't just buy a bunch of cheap stuff to have a big collection. They save their money to get things that they find to be really worth having. And they also are more serious about testing things before they spend the money. So with that being said, actually, I'll answer a couple of questions and then get back to it. So just to throw this out there, I will say complementary on purpose. Sorry. Have I tried the vanilla version? Yes. So Vanilla Dunes and Liquid Brune, I'm going to go ahead and say this. They're both just as good as each other, but in different ways. I think I like the bottle of Vanilla Dunes more, but I like the smell of Liquid Brune a little bit better. Or maybe if I had to really analyze myself, I think I like the performance of Liquid Brune a little better. I think I overall like the smell profile just a little bit more if it was more mature of Vanilla Dunes, because it has a little bit more of a floral feel behind it. Whereas Liquid Brune is a little bit more of a dense overall, like going to cling to you way better. Liquid Brune does perform a bit better, at least for the first handful of hours, than Vanilla Dunes. They both stick to your skin all day, though. So Liquid Brune and Vanilla Dunes, and then Hot Lodge's Island, are two of like the actual best dupes that I've personally experienced. Somebody, Vera Blessed, asked me about what I think about the light blue Capri. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. And then I'll answer Koala Chaos about Dior Sauvage. So I'm going to go ahead and say Dior Sauvage. Just being real with you, I'll go ahead and answer you that question. Get Dior Sauvage, but depending on which Sauvage you're getting. I don't know which one you're planning to get, but if you can spring just a little extra money, I suggest the Eau de Parfum, the EDP or the Parfum edition. And if you're thinking about getting Sauvage Elixir, obviously, if you got the money for that, I would recommend that perfectly, 100%. But with this being said, light blue Capri, or you're thinking about getting the EDT, if you can, like I said, spring a little bit more money and get the Eau de Parfum. But either way, I still would suggest Dior Sauvage because, again, people keep saying, and I've said this in my last stream, and I'll say this till the cows come home. People keep saying that Dior Sauvage is like played out, but it isn't. People aren't wearing it that much anymore because people think it's all played out. So if you start wearing it, hey, at least you'll be wearing it that a lot of people aren't really doing as much anymore like they used to. Any thoughts? Okay, so I'll answer this real quick as well. So I actually, I'm going to say that if you get the chance to smell light blue Capri against Black Orchid, they're not, this might sound a little strange to you, by the way, absolutely no problem. I'll always say this, if people got questions, you are more than welcome to ask those questions. Please come through here. As you see, I've got my nose on a lot of fragrances of all different types. I've got a few new ones that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. There's a lot of fragrances that I've been exposed to, so I can tell you the best of my ability, but there's also a lot that I've never smelled. So ask me whatever you like, and I'll give you the best answers that I can. And if I can't answer you, I'll let you know that. But with that being said, this one, the new Capri, I think my mom got this first of all. My mom's watching. Thank you so much, Mama, for having got this for me for my birthday. This is honestly a really great fragrance. But again, if you do get to smell Black Orchid, if you're in the store, the original Black Orchid Eau de Parfum, this carries a feel to it because of the patchouli. So the primary notes for this is black pepper, fig, and patchouli. And there's a few other things in there, but those are the main notes and accords for the new Capri in Love by Dolce & Gabbana. This is an Eau de Parfum. I was really surprised, actually, because people, when they think of Dolce & Gabbana's original light blue, they think about how it doesn't have the best performance in the world because the original light blue was an Eau de Toilette. I have it right here. Behind it, I've got my favorite version, which is the Eau Intense by Dolce & Gabbana. But when you think about the original light blue being an Eau de Toilette and also being a very fresh, soft type of a citrusy feel, and you think about how it wears off kind of quickly, that Dolce & Gabbana smells so good. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. This one right here, the originals, I love them all. The Eau Intense is a much richer, sharper, different fragrance than the original. I think my favorite scent is the original light blue, but again, I don't wear it as much, or sometimes I'll even layer it with the Eau Intense. But this one is a completely different smell from the originals. It has like that same spice richness that's coming from the black pepper with a patchouli blend. If you smell light blue, honestly, I think that they are very, very special in the market of designer fragrances because a lot of times when people think designer, they can kind of think maybe boring. Like, I am going to be honest with you guys. I like Paco Rabanne 1 Million Elixir. I know it's cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've personally seen that it's cool to hate on Paco Rabanne 1 Million Elixir these days. I don't know why, but people want to talk about it being like a very basic and boring fragrance, even though it's very awesome, powerful, a good everyday type of fragrance to put on. But with that being said, I think it's great. I like fragrances like that, but they can be very like vapid. And like just anybody could be wearing it. For me personally, though, when you smell Dolce & Gabbana's light blue, it was the very first fragrance I ever truly fell in love with. And it was the very first fragrance, like an actual real designer cologne, other than Davidoff's Cool Water, that my mom got for me. I'll never forget it. We went to Ulta. My mom had me walk around and smell different fragrances and see what I thought. And I smelled everything Ulta had to offer. Fun fact, other than updated formulations, from that time of me being like 13, to now, I'm 32. If you go into an Ulta, Sephora, any of those places, it's funny because a lot of these fragrances are still the same as they used to be, just a little bit reformulated. But Dolce & Gabbana's light blue, the original, this was the first fragrance that I ever got my nose on. And I'll never forget falling in love with it. It is one of the most beautiful fragrances that you'll ever smell. I don't care what people say. I don't care if people say it's overrated. As you can see, I've smelled the Amouages, the Xerjoffs, and again, Xerjoff, to this day, my favorite perfume house of all, especially in niche perfumery. But I've smelled so many different things. But to this day, when I put my nose on the original Dolce & Gabbana light blue, it's so beautiful that it's crazy. And my buddy here, Redbeard, you wearing Eau Intense. Oh, your Eau Intense is coming in? That's awesome. And thank you, King Sword, for being here, for commenting. Again, anybody who comes through here, you are more than welcome. I hate when fragrances get reformulated. By the way, if I seem a little all over the place, I just want to remind you guys that in general, my mind's always racing. But again, my grandma is currently in hospice. She's going to be passing at any moment, any day. So my mind's kind of there. There's also been some other stuff going on. in life as a whole. So my job just fired 26 people, and I'm not in any risk of losing my job. I love my job, but they made a decision for the company. And when you lose a bunch of people like that, when a lot of people you were very close to gets fired, and as well, you're about to lose a family member. So again, I always want to be honest with you guys, be as real as I possibly can be on my channel. So if you see me during these streams, I'm not going to stop streaming every Wednesday, even through stuff going on, because I get to connect with you guys and like develop a real community here that means the world to me. So it actually helps me. Like when my wife is at work and busy, this type of stuff helps me a lot feel better. So if anything, like, you know, for whatever it means to you guys, this is like some type of therapeutic type of situation for me, doing these live streams and talking with you guys and like keeping myself distracted while I'm waiting on my day off on my Wednesdays. So again, if I seem all over the place, I'm always going to be real with you guys. That's what's going on. But getting back to it real quick, super happy, buddy, that your O Intense is coming. I hope you really love it and get the most out of it. ADHD can be a curse. Yes, it absolutely can. Mine's just going all over the place. Jeff, though, I absolutely hate when things get reformulated as well, because it's very, very rare that a fragrance gets reformulated and it's for the better. Just being completely honest, that almost never happens. When fragrances get reformulated, like, for instance, Parfums de Marly's, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the same company that now owns Initio is also the same company that owns Parfums de Marly. That's why recently I did a video, because a lot of people like, and also again, I say this a lot, but one of my favorite reviewers himself, Aaron Terrence Hughes, had did, because a lot of people compare How Tame by Parfums de Marly to Oud for Greatness by Initio. Well, it is a fact that they're sister companies, or cousins if you like, because they're owned by the same primary company. Now, what happens when bigger companies purchase things like Parfums de Marly? People will notice they're not as strong as they used to be when they're reformulated. They don't even carry the exact same scent profile sometimes when they're reformulated. So definitely when things are reformulated, it sucks. Except, I will say this. Good morning, Bo Dominican, by the way. Prada also, I do believe, does own Versace now. At least I do know Estee Lauder owns a lot of these companies, like Tom Ford. Tom Ford is owned by, I believe, Estee Lauder now. So if you notice, there will be people who talk about how Tom Ford used to be way stronger. It used to have a different scent, like Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford used to have a more brightness and rich profile to it. It also had like a scent note to it that I'm not going to say on here because it's not appropriate, but it's there if you know what I'm talking about. So when things are bought over, it can be really disappointing. That's why if you're in the fragrance community, like really, really into it, like I try to be, and keep up with news and fashion news and stuff, you will notice that a lot of things get changed in the ways that are not always for the better. So that's why a lot of expensive crap, just like Tom Ford's being like the Private Reserve or whatever they are, like Black Lacquer and all that just came out, right? Real quick sidebar. I just want to throw out there how bullcrap this is. I enjoy some Tom Ford fragrances, but they're far from my favorite fragrance house. But this literally just came out, right? And I do love this. For what it's worth, this is a very strong and good fragrance. But this is 1 fluid ounce, right? Or 30 mil. Now, when this first came out, I was able to get this for a good discounter. Okay. And I paid, I think, for this 1 ounce, I think that this was $230, something like that. Do you know, I looked the other day, and this plastic bottle, okay, this isn't even a glass bottle. This is how these companies, when they get bought out by big companies like Estee Lauder, they're ripping people off. I'm sorry that I'm going on this rant, but this stuff really does frustrate me. Because again, if you love perfumery, if you love fragrances, perfumers who make really good fragrances deserve to be paid well. Maison Francis Kirkjohn, again, one of the best perfumers to me of all time. Quentin Biche, one of the best perfumers of all time. When these guys make fragrances and spend a lot of time and energy making something beautiful, they deserve to be paid well. But let me tell you something. When cranking out houses like this, like Tom Ford, get bought over by big companies like Estee Lauder, and they are giving you things in these little plastic containers, but they're charging, this is going, I think, in like $300, $400 at this point. If you buy it full price somewhere, not on a sale, not on a discount, to me, that is pathetic. That is absolutely pitiful. The only reason you would buy something like that at that price is just to flex on people. And even then, why would you do that? Why would you go tell people I spent $400 on this little fragrance? People go like, okay, unless I can do one spray and it lasts 10 years, congratulations, you're stupid. You would have spent all that money for nothing. So there are some fragrances out there that are really worth the money, but like, it's just crazy to me. I'm sorry for going on that rant, but like I said, but thank you, King Sword. Thank you, all you guys, Jeff and everybody. Jeff, I'm sorry that your grandma passed away. 98. That's wild that she lived that long. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that as well, though. I hate when people have to go through loss. It's a natural part of life, but still, it's never really fun at all. Why is Vulcan Feu sold out everywhere? Is it good? And it's crazy that Xerjoff joined the club line is made by Real Blue. Absolutely. They are better. So Xerjoff is 1,000 times better than Tom Ford. Amouage, way better than Tom Ford. I will say, Parfums de Marly's, I have a hard time saying are better than Tom Ford because even though you get way more for the price you pay and the fragrances are nice, they themselves are another one of those companies, like I said, that they've been reformulated, and people used to feel very confident saying that Parfums de Marly's were like huge performers, but they don't perform as much as they used to. But yes, you're absolutely right about the Xerjoff thing, like you said, my buddy Redbeard. And as far as my friend asking me here, Kingsword, thank you for, saying sorry, it's okay. I'm going to be working through it. But as far as Vulcan Feu is concerned, the reason it's sold out is exactly like what I was talking about, right? This is sold out because everybody on the content creation platforms keep talking about how great it is. Like I said, I recently purchased like a whole bunch of clones and dupes after I got all these bad boys and stuff to do my content with. And as I've gone through these clones and dupes, here's one thing that I want you to know. Content creators who push these on you guys do not expect that you've had the chance to smell the real thing. You want to know that? Most content creators who are out here pushing on you guys these clones and dupes, they don't expect that you've had the personal chance to smell the real deal, or that if you have, you never got to really wear it and try it out. So they are anticipating so that they can make some money and commissions off of getting you guys to buy these things or whatever. They are anticipating that you're just going to buy this and think that it lives up to the hype. Do you know how often fragrances disappoint? So what's happening right now is Vulcan Feu, like, again, I'm getting Mango Bliss tomorrow. I am looking forward to trying it out. But things like Vulcan Feu are getting spread all over the internet, so everybody's buying these out. These are getting sold out, but to be completely real with you, the performance is trash. The other day, I tried to be nice about it because I did try to give it a shot, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This performance is absolute garbage. You want to know why I say that? Because what do I expect out of a fragrance? Especially from a house like French Avenue. Now, I know this is not a gourmand or like a rich, dark, sweet, earthy fragrance like Coco Morado, like Liquid Broom. I know that as a fresher fragrance like this, I know that I can't convince you guys to tell you that this is supposed to perform as good as Liquid Broom because it's not the same type of profile. And we all know that gourmand fragrances tend to be denser and last longer. But there are companies like Xerjoff and so forth who show you that citrusy fragrances can last very strong, very long, and have great longevity and performance, right? So it is making me sick to my stomach that there are content creators. I'm going to put these over here real quick and talk about something for a second. Because it, honest to God, is making me sick to my stomach. Let me answer this question real quick. I see somebody talking about Armaf Odyssey. I have Dubai Chocolate. It's beast mode. I haven't smelled that, but I will say Armaf. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm here, real quick before I get back to what I was talking about. Sorry for being all over the place. After having Armaf Club de Nuit, having the sillage, and talking about how I actually really like the way it is in comparison to Silver Mountain Water that I got up here, I did get me a new bottle, as you guys can see, of Club de Nuit. This is the Parfum. This is the actual Pure Parfum edition. And I want to let you guys know, if you go back in my videos months and months and months and months ago, before I had so much exposure to a lot of new perfumery, I had tried the Eau de Parfum version, and I was not a big fan. But I want you guys to know that I'm actually cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs, or whatever you want to call it, for Club de Nuit Intense Man, the Parfum edition. I haven't tried the special edition Parfum, but I got my hand. This bottle came in as soon as I opened it and I started smelling it. I was like, wow, I actually really love this. So I've come around a lot to that lemon type of Creative Ventus feel, but I like this more. I like this more. I like Eros Energy more. I like certain fragrances way more than I like the original Creative Ventus. I have it. I've had it. I gave it away, actually. But again, I got Creed Silver Mountain Water. I've smelled lots of real Creed fragrances, but I actually got to say, this is fantastic. The Parfum edition. The Eau de Parfums, whatever. I don't like it as much. But if you can get your hands on the Parfum version, I will say I've come around and I take back what I originally said about not being the biggest fan of that scent profile. But yeah, with that being said, I don't know about the one you mentioned. How do I feel about Givenchy? Okay, so I think that's actually a pretty decent fragrance, but I don't think that most Givenchy fragrances perform the way you would like. Dash, sup work, buddy. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope everything's going well in your life. But yes, when I still have half a bottle, that is awesome. And again, as always, anybody coming through here, if you don't know, if you haven't seen my stuff before, please, you're more than welcome to ask me about any fragrances that I have here in my collection. Ask me questions. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying about this right here, it makes me absolutely sick that content creators are taking fragrances like this and shoving it down you guys' throats so that you guys go spend the money. When I can tell you right now, because again, I'm not going to name names, but I want to kind of bad, because there's a few creators that I saw on TikTok the other day who were saying, you've got to get this as soon as you can get your hands on it, because this is an absolute monster. It performs like, like one guy said, like 12 hours, all this other crap. And it doesn't. It literally, don't get me wrong now, as like a very intimate to your arm skin scent, I will say this stays for roughly about 7 hours or so as like a very close skin scent. But they kept saying in these videos that I saw that this just radiates off of you like an absolute monster and stuff for like 10, 12 hours. Again, very few fragrances actually do that. Sauvage Elixir being one of those. But this right here, after you first spray it on, I swear to you, and it's not just because I got like a bad bottle or nothing like that. If it is, then they need to be way better at quality control. But it isn't, because I know two people who also got these, okay, and they can say the same thing. These performance was crap. So I sprayed it on. It's very nice enough smell. Nothing fancy, not the most incredible thing you've ever seen. Again, I've smelled fragrances just like this, but even better from like women's fragrances and stuff. Anybody can wear whatever they want. So this is basically just like the original God of Fire. This is pretty much like a woman's leaning fragrance that has been tried to be remarketed and pushed towards men and tried to be made to be like, oh, this is different, this is unique, but it isn't. You can find a dime a dozen of this type of thing, basically, if you start getting away from like typical man smells. And the performance, like I said, is just not that great. So I'm not going to keep trashing on this unless people continue, like new people come through and ask me about it. But if you're curious, like if you really want a good mango type of citrusy feel for the summertime, okay, sure. If you want to get something that's not like over $100 and you just want to have the hype, okay, go ahead and spend the money. But just letting you know, if you save the money and you want to do something a little bit more special, I always try to tell people Herba Pura, Herba Gold by Xerjoff, fantastic. If you don't want that bright mango feel, then again, get yourself a Dolce & Gabbana. But I am really loving this. Super thankful to my mom for having gotten me a bottle of this for my birthday, because it is just really special. I like the way they've done the patchouli. I like that they added fig to this. That I think is what's very interesting about it. If you've been exposed to a lot of fragrances, you'll be able to really notice it, although it is really kind of mid-blended with that black pepper and patchouli. So it's a very strong black pepper patchouli type of scent going on. But I do like this. Have I smelled Fragrance World Valentino? No, I have not. But if you could, tell me what it's all about. Emilio, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. What's my go-to bottle for around $130 to $150? Ooh, that's a really good question. My go-to bottle for that price range. If I had to say, I would say probably one of these two guys. Now, again, you didn't ask me about a summer fragrance or nothing, so I'm assuming that you just mean in general. So, Lamella Parfum or Lamella Elixir. These are around that range, $130 to $150. And again, you actually get a pretty good sized bottle. I hate touching these bottles. Not trying to be funny, no disrespect to anybody out there. I really don't like touching these bottles, but I love the sprays. It's supposed to be similar to La Toffa. Okay, well, thank you for suggesting that. I would say that 100% out of any fragrances that I would tell you for that price range, I wish if it was like a little bit more, like if you had more to spend, a go-to bottle would be that Bleu de Chanel Parfum, something like that. Kiss the bottle. Not going to do that. Okay. There you go. That's the best I can do for you. You guys saw it here first. That's the one and only time you're ever going to see that. But yeah, these guys, Lamel Le Parfum, and I've been talking about Le Beau so much recently with people at work. But Lamel Le Parfum and Lamel Elixir, I got to say, if I was going to ever tell you guys to get yourself a really wonderful fragrance that's got incredible performance, and as well going to be in that decent price range, I'd say probably those. And then as usual, I'm going to go with either light blue intense or Versace Eros Parfum, because you can get for 100. Actually, so if you go to discounters like Fragrance Net, this is like the big boy bottle, the 200 mil, and you can get this for around that like 115 range. That's on a discount, and this is a Parfum concentration. It's extremely powerful. This is actually what I'm wearing today. Or you can get Eros Energy for like $90, $115. So did you try an aromatics fragrance? I have Royal Taboo on the way. I'll say, here's another thing I'll say. I have not tried any aromatics fragrance yet. I keep seeing, obviously, when I'm doing a little bit of research on TikTok and stuff in the fragrance community, I am seeing aromatics fragrances being brought up a lot. And I see his pages and stuff like that. I haven't tried any. I hope that it's good. So far, I can tell that he's very much sponsored, and he definitely has a stake in the game when it comes to a lot of fragrances he talks about. But I've seen people say good things about his fragrances overall, so I'll give him a shot at some point. Kind of like the other day. So I got in these Rayhans that everybody's kind of talking about. I got in the Rayhan. This is the Lion. This is Cal Cologne's edition, the Rayhan Tiger. So I've seen a lot of people talk about these for just their overall popularity at this point. These are like super. Hold on, let me answer this stuff. Is Lattafa Amir Al Oud worth it? Over by the fireplace? Actually, I'm gonna be real with you guys. By the Fireplace is a very, very okay fragrance. That's just my opinion. And I'm saying that because it's not a high concentration. And again, I have seen not too many people, but some people try to say that By the Fireplace is a good performer, but it's not. So again, not trying to be like offensive or whatever. Just as honest as I can be. I don't recommend getting either one of them. But if you want something, if you like that scent profile, I would say probably in this case, go with Lattafa. Because if there's a fragrance that like in and of itself is a certain price range, but the performance isn't the best, in those cases, Lattafa's might probably perform better than the original. So I would say in those particular cases, probably get the Lattafa. You might get more out of it. So I'm not going to always recommend stuff like that, obviously. But yeah, just getting back to it, kind of like me not having tried aromatics fragrances yet. And when next Wednesday, hopefully you get it by then, Jeff. If you come back for next Wednesday's live stream, let me know how that one goes, the Royal Taboo. I can't even remember the price of that one, but if you try it, I'd love to know how you felt about it. But yeah, Rayhan's Lion, this one actually is pretty decent. They say that this is supposed to be an ultra male. And again, here's one of those issues of like people calling things. I haven't seen too many people do that, but I have seen a couple creators say this is like a near about 1-to-1. It isn't. And if you think that it is, you need to have more time with fragrances. No offense to you. This is 100% not a 1-to-1 when it comes down to like an ultra male. It's like, and they weren't really trying to be. This is like ultra male with a little bit of a twist. So it's pretty decent. I would never say this is like worth the money because this was only like $30. So if you're looking for something that's kind of in the vein of ultra male, I think this isn't bad. It's a pretty okay performer. But again, just being honest with you guys, as I always try to be, people trying to convince you that these cheaper fragrances, not that all expensive fragrances have great performance, lots of them don't. But if people are trying to convince you that these guys right here are like absolute monsters, it isn't. It's been a long time. Ismail, hey, thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time to come through, taking the time to watch as usual. Please tell me how life has been. Please, as usual, ask me questions if you would like to. But yeah, I got the, I did like a little short review the other day about Rayhan's Cal Cologne edition. And this is just another one of those fragrances where like, this is a direct blend to me in my nose of that Black Orchid with Bleu de Chanel Parfum. That is what it smells like. It is very nice. But again, performance-wise, you will notice a huge difference between this being like $40 versus, this isn't bad. This is a really nice, I would say if I ever had to tell people a top 10 list of like cheap fragrances to get your hands on if you don't got the ability to purchase a higher end fragrance, I would tell you straight up, this is a really good one to get your hands on if you want something that's a bit more mature. Could be unisex depending on the person, but very masculine overall. I think that compared to Rayhan Lion, I think I like this one better. This isn't me. I pretty much would never wear this. So again, I think it's very important in the fragrance world to always be able to be objective and tell people if something was made well, even if it's not your style. This is definitely not me. This is not something that I would wear pretty much ever because it's just not a profile that I'm a big fan of. But I can tell you this was made extremely well. And I respect what they did here. So for Cal Cologne to put his name behind this and to be his thing of choice, I think he did good. I hate the Ultramel DNA. I had 9 p.m., smelled good, got compliments, used it, but I actually hated it. See, here's the thing. I'm also very much in that same wheelhouse where, like, I don't know if you ever smelled the original Ultramel. I actually did like the original Ultramel well enough, but it as well was too youthful for me. You'll see people like Jeremy Fragrance talk about it a lot, but it wasn't for me. If I had to be real, like, again, Le Beau, Le Parfum, La Mel Elixir, La Mel Le Parfum, those are my favorites. Now, I have smelled, and I used to have the original La Mel before they reformulated it. I got my hands on, I think it was from maybe 2010, something like that. I was able to get my hands on an older La Mel Eau de Parfum, excuse me, Eau de Toilette, and pink, wine. I don't know what you mean by pink, but sure, if you're talking about my skin, I have eczema. If not, I have no idea what you mean by pink, but please ask me anything you want and talk about whatever you want, my friend. But yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, Ultramel is a pretty decent fragrance for what it is, especially if you're young. And it's like, honestly, for an eau de toilette, which I think it shouldn't be, Ultramel would have done way better if it had been eau de parfum. Because I don't know if you guys know this or not. The reason I think that Rayhan Lion is going to do really well and 9 p.m. is going to continue to do really well is they've stopped producing, they discontinued Ultramel, which is fine because between Le Parfum, the original new eau de toilette, the Elixir Absolu, I think at the end of the day, it's okay if they don't keep around the original. With that being said, by the way, I do have appreciation for Elixir Absolute, but after wearing it four more times, I think that the original Elixir is always going to be my favorite. Now, La Mel Le Parfum, or La Mal Le Parfum, in and of itself, even though it's eau de parfum, that is my favorite scent of the whole line because if you smell it, it has this beauty to it that's just like unmatched. But the Elixir has the best performance. It's an elegant one compared to the other. You're right. La Mel Le Parfum technically has the best overall scent profile. 9 p.m., it is good. 9 p.m. is a good fragrance. As in and of itself, it has like great performance. As far as I know, I haven't really worn it myself, but people that I work with wear it. And when they put it on, unless they're like going to their locker and respraying it, it seems to come off of them pretty decently, especially off their clothes for most of the day. So I think 9 p.m. is a good overall take. But again, just like I always try to tell people, it's not completely like the real thing. And I'm saying anybody who's brought up 9 p.m. or anything like that has done this. But if you've never smelled the original, it's like, you can't really understand why the original was better overall. But again, they discontinue it. It's probably because so many people buy 9 p.m. With that being said, you guys, I'm not getting off here yet because I got plenty of time today. So we're going to get back into doing some more stuff. But I'm going to sit this down temporarily because I've got to use the bathroom as usual. Anybody who's willing to stick around, I'll be right back. 9 p.m. was beast mode for me, but it just wasn't my style. Well, hey, thank you for letting me know that because like I said, 9 p.m. is a decent enough smell. It's not my style either. But yeah, the people at my job who wear 9 p.m., it seems to stick to them extremely well. But yeah, if you guys want to stick around, continue, like think up some questions you might want to have about me, about these fragrances. Think about whatever you want to ask. I'm also sorry that it looks so not classy in here, but again, I'm still working on this whole, like, life has a lot going on. So I'm still working on getting a space in other parts of the house that I'm going to do these videos on. I'm going to steal your armoires and dirt off while you're gone. Oh, no, you won't, JJ. I better hurry up and pee as fast as I can. But I will say, if you have to take them, if you've got to, just leave me Naxos. Take the rest of them, leave me Naxos, and leave me Reflection and Black Iris, which are the best. So if you take anything else, that's fine. But I'll be right back, you guys, and I'll see you in a second. Oh, and also, thank you, Ishmael. I appreciate you for guarding. Also, hello, Swifty. Hello, my friend. Thank you so much for coming back, May. I'm just letting you know, because you just got here, I am about to go use the bathroom, but I'll be right back. All right. All right. So I have returned. Get my little microphone situation set back up. Okay, you guys. Thank you for being patient. Forgive my extremely wrinkled shirt. Recently, we did laundry, and I don't know if you guys know, but not everybody is the best at making sure. And I'm everybody. Not everybody, and that is me, is the best at getting your stuff out of the wash and making sure it doesn't wrinkle. I've also never used an iron before. That'd be crazy if we caught a ghost. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. That would have been, oh no, you gotta go. That's totally okay. Well, thank you for dropping through. I really appreciate the fact that you even came through at all. But yeah, how crazy would that have been if while I was going to the bathroom, there was like a ghost that came? First of all, this is a brand new house that was built last year. So if there's a ghost in here, I really want to know why they're here and what they want from me. But if there was one, I would also kind of be happy about that. Bye. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you and your whole family, tell Malik and everybody that I hope you guys have an incredible day. Tell your parents, I hope they're doing good. And I appreciate you so much for having stopped through. And next Wednesday, you'll be able to come through and we'll be able to say, hey, also, just throwing you guys out there, all of a sudden, Jeremy Fragrance materializes and my Lamel floats off. You know what? Let me tell you something, JJ. If Jeremy Fragrance materialized anywhere within the vicinity of my house, I'm going to run up to him and scream power in his face. And then he's going to do the same thing back to me. And then we're just going to explode. And that would be okay. And that would be very okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, by the way, JJ, for stopping by. I'm glad that you're here. To everybody who's been taking the time to watch so far, I appreciate you guys. As always, I know a lot of you guys got busy days, busy schedules. Even though I have Wednesdays off, it doesn't mean most people do. I've actually been contemplating recently, thinking about, because I'm continuing to try to grow overall views and like hours and stuff like that. I'm thinking very much so about taking this channel and doing not just Wednesday streams, but seeing if I can also do like early Saturday and Sunday morning streams as well. So it's probably not morning time for you because I know not all of you guys are here in America. But I thought about that and I was like, well, during the week isn't easy for everyone because a lot of people work. So I might start doing that, do Saturday and Sunday streams as well if I can, because my wife doesn't wake up as early as I do. So it would be no problem for me to come in here. And she's also a pretty heavy sleeper as well. Like somebody could fire a shotgun within our bedroom and she would just barely open her eyes and be like, who farted? So at the end of the day, I think it'll be okay. But if anybody who's actually watching, who's a normal watcher, please let me know if that's fine with you. East Coast too. Yeah, hit you some Saturdays. That would be great. I think it would be helpful because I've said this before. As a matter of fact, I don't know why I didn't do this before I even started this stream. I probably should start doing this like on a regular basis, even if it seems a little douchey or something like that, which I don't know if it does, but I might should start just having my little silver play button up here in the videos while I do this, because not everybody who's come through here, I keep the frags in my closet too. Yeah, I was like, when we moved into this house, I didn't know where I was going to put them. And when I saw this shelf, I got super excited because you guys who watch like other fragrance content creators probably see they have shelving and stuff where they keep their fragrances. But when I go back and watch a lot of people's, they're laid out in a way that's a little bit easier to look at. So when I'm standing here like this, it's like a little bit more difficult for me not to be blocking off what I actually have going on right here. But yeah, I think like during my videos and stuff, until I got a better place to do it, I probably should start putting my play button right here. Because even if it seems gimmicky, just having your freaking play button showing while you're doing this kind of crap is an easier way to have people come through. But like I said, as usual, we're just here doing what we do, here hanging out, shooting the breeze. You guys, like I'm always telling you, before I do these Wednesday streams, are more than welcome to think up stuff you'd like to ask me. By the way, I'm going to start doing this anyways, but I'm just going to ask you guys who are watching, who are like normal followers, if you're cool with this or not. This might seem weird. And also people who drop through here just to like check out the videos and stuff and ask me about fragrances. It might not be the most helpful thing in the world to make this happen. But I was thinking this morning, right? You all know that I personally believe in God. You're all welcome if you'd like to. If you want to make fun of me, I don't appreciate that. But if you want to, hey, that's your choice. But if you guys as well got questions about like my personal beliefs or anything at all, you're always welcome to do that. I'd love to even connect with you guys deeper about stuff other, like I said, than just fragrances. But I've been thinking about starting my streams off with like prayer and maybe like having that throughout, just like a small prayer or whatever, just for me personally and for anybody who's watching and stuff. So if you guys are okay with that, if nothing else, you're fine with it. Are you Christian? Samuel for asking. Okay, so since you asked, I'm going to get into this for a little while. I would personally say that I am. And what I mean by that probably sounds really strange or really vague. I would personally say that I am a Christian in the sense that by all of what it's worth, I every day read the Bible, or at least as many days as I can. I've been studying religions and Christianity for many years, like literally studying it. I have a handful of friends who have doctorates, their doctorate degrees in Christianities and ancient Near East history, ancient Near East belief systems, all that different stuff. I've got a handful of friends who have their doctorate degrees, and one of them even has two, in ancient Christianity, early church, all that stuff. So long ago, when I had personal experiences and I started wanting to kind of get to the nitty gritty, I started asking these people and kind of going through that information. It's like so much stuff we can get into to how I got to this point. But long story short, I would call myself a Christian because I 100% believe in Jesus in the way that I do. I'm 100% open to answer questions about that. But when I just throw that out there, it can mean a lot of things to anybody who's watching. My friend here, King Sawyer, just said he's a Catholic. So that's awesome. I actually feel like I'm not personally in the Catholic Church or anything like that, but I feel the most drawn towards, if you are going to be in that world, towards the history, the teaching, and so forth. But there's also things that I take issue with, but there's reasons for that. But with that being said, I've studied and read the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads. I've read the Ramayas and the Puranas. I've read a lot of the Hindu texts for the sake of understanding them, appreciating the history, the religion, the beliefs, understanding the people who watch and what you stand for, what you believe in. I have no issues with you, and I take no reason why I should have to. As well, I've read the Dhammapada and a handful of other Buddhist texts. I've read the Quran 4 times. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a professional. Do you have a mixture of Eastern and Western beliefs? So with you asking that, I would say that to be genuinely honest, if you are a person who believes in God in any way, shape, or form, wherever you get those beliefs from probably draws from these texts, and as well personal experiences. If in any way, shape, or form your beliefs are drawn from texts of a religious kind, scriptures, then you already are starting off with the point that you have. When you say you believe in Christ, do you mean Christ consciousness or Christ? So when I say that, and by the way, I'm excited that you guys are asking this because, again, even though my channel is a fragrance channel, and I'm going to answer questions about fragrances and stuff like that, and I'm always here to talk about that. Again, I also love talking about just life and beliefs and stuff. As somebody who myself has almost died a handful of times, and not like I haven't had near-death experiences, but like I've had near-death experiences, but not like the kind where like I was gone and saw stuff. But as somebody who's been very close to death, I've had a lot of people pass away in my life. Studying belief systems and understanding real spiritual experiences that I've had, my wife have had and so forth, is important to me. So again, this is a fragrance channel where I'm going to be doing reviews and talking about fragrances and stuff, but it will always be me talking about life as well. And anybody who doesn't like that, you don't have to be here. But so now that my buddy here, Samuel, asked me, do I believe in Christ's consciousness or like Jesus, like as being the Messiah, the Christ? To give you like the most summarized version I could possibly give you, to keep it short and see, like even me talking about this, there's like lots of people who dropped off watching, so that's okay. But you guys are sticking with me. We're in this together. I believe that Jesus, for reasons we can get into if you want to ask, if you think I'm stupid, that's fine. I believe personally, from experiences and also studying, Jesus was a real person. Although I can't prove that to you guys, I'll never tell you I can prove any of this stuff. I believe that Jesus walked this earth. I believe that Jesus was in fact the Son of God. Not that we all aren't sons and daughters of God, but he was the unique Son of God from God. I believe that it is historically taught, however you want to feel about this, that the idea of the angel of the Lord or a representative of God in the flesh is something that's been all throughout history, all different types of traditions, but in specific throughout the Bible, the Hebrew scriptures, in the Greek scriptures, you see a representation of someone representing God in the flesh. It happened when speaking to Moses and so forth, Abraham and so forth, even wrestling with God Jacob. So with all that being said, I believe that Jesus is in fact the created, or not created, sorry, no offense to anyone. Don't want to misspeak here and people take me out of context. I believe that Jesus is the God in the flesh, but in the sense that he comes from God the Father in heaven. A friend of mine, one of the scholars, likes to say that Jesus becomes the Son, or the Father becomes the Father when the Son becomes the Son. Prior to that, throughout Hebrew scriptures, they didn't really call necessarily God Father, more like Adonai, Hashem. But my favorite fragrance YouTuber. Thank you, Marco, for being here. Man, I can't wait till the resurrection. So all praise the Most High, absolutely. So again, anybody who has a problem with me talking about this stuff, it's okay if you keep scrolling. But when I talk about this stuff, the people watching. So in and of itself, yes, I don't believe necessarily, or I don't subscribe to the very concept of what became a doctrine of the Trinity. So when I say that, I do believe that Jesus is God in the flesh, that he is representing God. And that so God, even in the Trinity, just so we can get, there's so much we can get here. I'm going to misspeak about stuff as well, confusing things, but God, in the idea of the Trinity, if you guys don't know, which was a doctrine that developed, it is a part of the early church, but calling something a doctrine or a dogma means that it developed. It means that over time, this is why I believe in, I respect the Catholic Church because, again, no disrespect to anybody else, but the Catholic Church is very honest. They believe in tradition, and tradition helped to get to what we have now. Anybody who's against developing tradition, you're kind of being against how even the Bible came to be in the first place. The Bible became fully together thanks to the help of tradition in the church. So that is something that is a fact. So with that being said, the Trinity in and of itself, in essence, for a lot of people, is that God is in essence in the center. And from that comes three co-eternal, equal beings, but they all have a different function. So that's the way the Trinity is basically taught. Just ordered Arcana Initio by Initio. I have smelt it. And by the way, real quick, Marco, that is a fantastic fragrance. I'm glad that you enjoy that. And I hope that you enjoy it when you get it. It is very powerful, very beautiful. And you made a fantastic choice by getting that. I can't wait to get Blessed Baraka and Atomic Rose. So just throwing it out there. But to finish what I'm saying real quick, since we're talking about this, and again, anybody who comes through here and wants to ask about fragrances, you're welcome to do it. But right now, me and my people who are watching, we're talking about God. We're talking about religion, faith, and stuff. So with all that being said, it is very clear and obvious throughout church history and stuff like that, that a lot of things have been mistreated. A lot of things have been abused. But it's okay, because a lot of things were also done correctly. That's the best that we could have done. So understanding how ancient people, like Israelites, as they developed throughout time in Canaan, how they understood their scriptures throughout time and throughout development and inspiration, understanding as well the time of the Babylonian exile, and then understanding the times when Jesus came to this earth. To try your best to, if you really want to appreciate scriptures, just like if you're a Muslim and so forth, if you really want to appreciate your scriptures, you want to know the history and their development. It's very important. So at the end of the day, these are things that we can't know anything with absolute certainty, because claiming that you know something with certainty would be like, well, you can't prove things to people, you're kind of lying. So knowing your own beliefs that you know for certain in your heart is different from trying to convince somebody of something. So again, please don't quote me on things I say, don't get angry at things I say, but just throwing this out there, look into the history of your religion. Exactly, Tony. That's what I'm saying. If you want to, it's all fake. Okay, and that's how Tony feels, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, saying things are all fake is wrong. You can't prove things are all fake, just like you can't prove things are all true. What matters is trying to understand how people of antiquity believed what they believed. So if you're going to believe in something, the least you can do is try to do some history on it. There is no way to be able, like this guy Tony saying, to say things are a reality, because we can't go back in time and see what happened. But it goes both ways. You don't get the chance to say there is way too much evidence when Jesus was here. So anyway, and again, red beard, I'm with you on that. But to be able to say anything was an absolute certainty to other people, whether you're saying something isn't real or is real, it's impossible. You can say what you want, but you can't prove anything. What you can do, on the other hand, is have your own personal experiences and to try to filter them the best you can by breaking things down and analyzing them. No evidence of Jesus. And again, to anybody who's curious, by the way, it's really fun that we're getting into this right now. And if anybody wants to stop and ask about fragrances, please do. But we're talking about faith right now and God and stuff. So to Tony talking about no evidence of Jesus. So what he means by that is, and you can take that stance. You can take the stance that there's no physical evidence of a person who walked this earth. And that's true. That's 100% true. I think the only way to really understand, meditate, or pray, you can experience the love of God through prayer. So that's exactly my point. Now, again, I personally would say I agree with that. So to people like Tony here, he's able to logically take that stance. It'd be wrong for somebody to say that Tony can't logically stand on what he's saying. Tony doesn't know what year it is. So, but at the end of the day, but I'm never going to attack people, because being realistic, when somebody says there's no evidence for something, we can mean different things. So people, like, for instance, I don't really like apologetics. Even though it might seem to some people like Tony, that's what I'm doing right now. people who use things like religious apologetics are making defenses for a case of something. And in that case, if you want to talk about philosophy, if you want to talk about theology and ideas, we can say, if we want to categorize it, that things are evidence. But other people can disagree. So at the end of the day, that's all right. If some people say that text passed down through tradition is evidence, to a lot of people it is. And in courtrooms and stuff, in courtrooms, things can be considered evidence because of even people saying things happen, like witnesses or testimony. But then again, even though we have eyewitness testimony of things like religious texts, we also don't have eyewitness testimony in the sense that we have proof that the people saw these things, right? So at the end of the day, I came to the conclusion it's all BS. I know more of religion than you do. And it's okay that you feel that way, Tony. So like I said, different people feel the way that they do. Dr. Beast, thank you for being here. But people like Tony, who claim to be super on top of it, who claim to have all the information, top 3 city rhythm fragrances. I personally never actually myself tried any city rhythm fragrances, so I can't really give you any good information about that, and I apologize for that. I wish I could, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So if I have any fragrances that I personally tried, whether they're here or out and about, I'll tell you about them. But I haven't ever tried any of those. But if you have, or if you're curious about them, I would love to hear your thoughts. I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you. But anyway, with that being said, like I said, people like Tony, at the end of the day, I have no disrespect towards you. I have no ill will. But when people feel how they do about things, that's their decision. Just as somebody can say things I believe is bullcrap, to my other friends out there who believe in God, again, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, if you're Jewish, if you're a Hindu of any kind, nobody can, sit here and argue with you and crap on you for your beliefs because they shouldn't do that. They can try to, but it's not going to really matter at the end of the day, because people speaking out of rage, they have their reasons for feeling that way. All the scripts about eyewitnesses were made centuries after Jesus. And you know something? As far as being written down, Tony is correct. All of the scriptures that we have today, in the way and the form that they are today, were written within decades or even longer, like put to pen to paper, after Jesus walked this earth. So there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, people wanting to argue about that kind of stuff, that's their choice. People have an issue about these things, that's their decision. So you're going to have people like Tony, who's very aggressive against belief systems, because that's just his thing. You can experience, again, at the end of the day, there are people who are very aggressive against belief systems, and we're going to be real here. Now, this is going to sound like an attack against Tony, but I'm just being honest. When people are very aggressive against belief systems, it's because they've probably been hurt by belief systems, or they have an ego problem. Just like it would be egotistical of me to tell you that anything that I believe is for a fact provable. You can't prove it. It would be wrong for me to say that. But people like Tony, who are very much like against it and want to argue with people more abrasively about it, which we can feel his demeanor here in his comments and stuff. This just means that at the end of the day, for one reason or another, he's got problems with it that bother him. And that's okay. They have their experiences. You're absolutely right. All belief systems have their own experiences. By the way, my buddy said stick to fragrances. So and again, if anybody has any questions about fragrances, it's more perfectly possible for you guys to ask. Do whatever you want to. By the way, just to specify, I don't mean that Tony is being aggressive, like angry, but like passive aggression is a thing. When people are being more, taking an aggressive stance towards something that people feel, kind of like if somebody told me that a certain fragrance was objectively a fantastic fragrance, and then I came up and was like, no, it's not. I don't like it. A person that I used to love had this fragrance, or a person that used to be really mean to me had this fragrance, or in general, I smell this fragrance and notes in it make me upset, or they bother me, or they stink. I don't like it, whatever. If I was like, it's a horrible fragrance, or it's just a bad fragrance in general, whatever stance I could take against somebody else's feelings and stuff, if I'm being like that, is being aggressive towards their stance, even if my demeanor isn't aggressive. Being passionate can come out in a way that's taking an aggressive stance on people's beliefs. So this is one of the last things I'm going to say about that, because I think that I want other people to be able to talk about other things and feel welcome here. But when I say taking an aggressive stance in philosophy, that doesn't mean you're angry or that you're being like against something. Taking an aggressive stance against something in that kind of way of using that definition just means that I very disagree with this, and I'm going to take a forceful stance against it. So if I told you right now, Tony, that God is real and you're going to hell, I don't believe you're going to hell. I can't prove to anybody like that's going to a place called hell. Okay? But if I was to tell you that, that would be me being passionate about my beliefs, but taking an aggressive stance. Now let's take hell out of it. If I said God is real and you're wrong, and I know that you're wrong, that would be taking an aggressive stance, even though my demeanor is calm. So anybody who's watching this, if you ever take a strong stance on something and you say someone else's belief is for a fact incorrect, but you can't really prove it, okay, like saying that the hell doesn't exist in Judaism, and you're right, hell in Judaism and the way that's presented in Christianity doesn't exist, for anybody watching who's curious. So we're going to end it close to here, but we're going to end that kind of stuff and get back to fragrances. It's a concept. Don't take it literal. Just block him. See, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, my buddy here, getting all bent out of shape and stuff, even if it doesn't seem like that, it is a thing that people feel. It is a thing that people really experience, and they have their reasons for experiencing it. So, but hold on. Let me see if I can do something really fast. I'm not sure. Maybe I can. Yeah, okay. So, just for now, I love this conversation. Pray for Tony. Okay, so just for now, I put the Tony guy on a timeout because I am realizing, just as I'm watching other people's comments, I like these discussions. I like these discussions for a reason. Again, as a person who believes in God, I like talking about ideas and beliefs while also being honest that just like with fragrances and stuff, there are aspects that are subjective. You can't prove things to people in a lot of capacities. So you're right. Most people don't enjoy topics like these, and you are absolutely correct. And that's okay. Because like I said, on my live streams, some days we're just going to only talk about fragrance. Some days we'll only talk about life. And in cases like this, we're talking about belief systems and stuff and my own personal beliefs, which you are allowed to ask me any questions you would like. It's easy to get sidetracked because when I see somebody like Tony coming through here, he said, I'm not being aggressive. I'm not being aggressive. But the reality of it is he is being aggressive in his own way, not angry, but being very egotistically passive aggressive. That's how we get sometimes when we have a problem with something. And people who have a problem with religion have every right to feel that way. In the name of religion, people have done horrible things in this world. There are horrible things going on in certain countries in this world right now, like people harming one another, and they always have throughout history in the name of belief systems. It's very easy if you're compassionate about your fellow human. Even if you look in the Bible, if you don't want to believe this, if you are a fellow Christian, you got to be honest with yourself. If you look into texts like the Bible or so forth in the Quran, you're going to see violence happen in the name of God. And you'd be a liar if you try to rub that off. So instead of trying to negate these things, you want to understand. If it helps, you just gain me as a subscriber. Well, I really appreciate that, Samuel. I appreciate you being here. And King Sword, you're right. We want to pray for Tony. Not in a passive-aggressive way either. See, that's another thing my fellow Christians do wrong all the time. Without knowing their history, without knowing their own reasons for standing on their beliefs the way that they do. Not that there isn't nuance to that. A big issue in a lot of Christian churches, especially in America, are those people who stand on street corners with megaphones and tell everybody they're going to hell and say words they shouldn't say to people. Is that representing Jesus? I just want to ask you guys that. Disagree with me if you'd like, but if you really study to the best you can of even information you have about Jesus, again, I'm not negating or shutting out people of other beliefs. While I don't personally have my reasons for believing, I respect, like I said, I've read the Gita. I love reading the texts to understand the beliefs of other people's beliefs, and I'm not going to crap on or negate other people who come here. If you're from India, if you're from Iran, like my ancestors, if you're from different parts of the world, and you have different beliefs, I'm not going to stand here and negate that or crap on you for that. I will never do that. So just to anybody who's fine with me talking about this stuff as I do so, I have to get back to work, but that was very nice. Well, thank you for being here. Fear-mongering shouldn't be a way to guide someone to the Lord. You're absolutely right, and that's what I'm talking about. It is not how things actually, if you disagree with it, that's fine. But if you know your church history, if you know even your Jewish history and stuff to the best of the ability, it is not the way that you should do things. You handle that well. The proof is in the character and actions. Well, I appreciate that, JJ, because it's not about us. If you actually want to represent your belief system properly, again, we can argue about that. People can make fun. They can be like, oh, yeah, well, then go stone a child for being disrespectful to their parent. People can pull verses. They can talk about certain things that are written for the reasons that they were, and we can talk about that stuff if you like. But if you want to represent to the best of your ability someone like Jesus, and the person he was and the things he taught, then the only way to do that is to act the way he did. So just a quick crash course for anybody stopping through here, because right now, ask me questions about fragrances if you want. That's what we're going to get back to talking about. But right now, we have went on a sidetrack about my beliefs. So with the person of Jesus, most often, especially in America, people behave like the Pharisees did in the Bible. If you want to call them stories, if you don't believe, that's totally okay. I respect you having your feelings about that, or your thoughts, your beliefs, what have you. But whether you look at Jesus in the scriptures, or even if you read the Quran and you look at the teachings of Muhammad, if you look at the passages that are from God in the Quran, again, I'm not a Muslim. I don't believe in Islam. That's just me. But I'm just making a stance from different points of view. If you are a Hindu and you follow any of the teachings of Krishna, but more specifically for me, in the most concentrated and best way to me from Jesus, to treat people properly, he taught the opposite of what the Pharisees were doing. He was personally constantly being bashed for how he was, the people he was around. He didn't approve of everything. He didn't accept everything like it was okay, but he loved people, and he showed the religious people how they were failing to love others. So that's what my whole thing here is, to love fragrances as a beautiful created art, but also to be good to you other people out there, as I hope you will be doing to me. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I will always stand on the fact that however you want to go about it, if you are fear-mongering people and trying to hurt people into believing in God, you're doing it wrong. You're being hateful. Muhammad did also more than him. And you know something? It's perfectly okay that is your stance. And I see that you are clearly, definitely a follower of Islam. And I respect that and appreciate that. And we have our own thoughts and feelings, and I totally understand why you would be very strong about your feelings and so forth. But righteousness over religiousness, you are absolutely correct. Taking the stance of following what we believe to be the teachings of God and loving people and showing love to the world is the best way to go. Best Valentino fragrance. All right, so I'm going to show you the only one that I currently have. We're going to get back to those subjects if you guys feel like it, but for now, we're going to take a super pause on that. My idea is supposedly on YouTube. That's funny. But so what we are never going to do, by the way, here on this channel, on my channel, especially if you're a follower of me, not that anybody that I've seen that I personally communicate with on a regular basis, I've never seen you do this, okay? But what we're not going to do is encourage attacking other people for their beliefs, regardless of if we think they're wrong or right, unless they are themselves being aggressive. If you are on my channel, okay, especially if we believe the same thing, and there's so much stuff I said about my own beliefs that I didn't get to express properly or didn't really get into, but as a quick break, since my buddy King Sword, since you're the one who asked, I'm just going to finish this real fast. Anybody who comes to my channel, we are never going to attack people for their beliefs. So if you follow me and we're all on the same page here, you are more than welcome to talk about your beliefs, but we're not going to hurt anyone. We're not going to make fun of anyone. Even if someone's rude to us here, I want to create an environment where we're not doing that stuff. So we're not going to attack people. We're not going to insult people. We're not going to make fun of people for how they act, even if they're very rude, even if they're like just not even there, if they're saying crazy things, they're being very hateful. We'll block them. We'll take them out of the chat. One of these days, some of you guys, if you're willing to, I don't know how to do it. I'll try to find out. But some of you guys, like if you're willing to, you could become mods for me. I'm not here for debates. You're absolutely right. We're not here to debate people. We're not here to like be mean to people and things like that, because it's just a waste of time. You might see me like with that guy who came through, get a little bit caught up with like trying to just explain some things. But at the end of the day, if anybody here would ever like to be a mod or something, I don't know how to do that or how that would work. But if you see people, I'm all for free speech, but if you see people being aggressive and just like trying to argue about stupid crap or whatever, if you see them going down the wrong road instead of just being healthy, whatever, help me out, get them out of here. Me too, man. Love the channel. Thank you so much. Okay, so you guys, I'll try to figure out how that works. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll see how I can do that for you guys to be in my conversations and stuff. Maybe I can add as a mod. Oh, dude, no way. Standard moderator can review or remove chats. Oh, cool. All right, dude. Well, I'm doing that to you guys right now, making you add as a moderator. Awesome. I didn't know how to do this. Like I said, I'm still figuring out how this live stream stuff works. But anyway, so Marco, you're a mod now. I'm not sure if that's what you were trying to ask to do. Redbeard, you are now officially a mod. King Sword, I don't know if you want to be one or not, but you're welcome to be one. Anybody who wants to help me on this channel, keep out bad stuff, let me know and I'll add you to it. And heck yeah, I'm here to do my best. Thank you. So real quick, and then I'll get back to King Sword about the Valentinos, because I'm actually excited to talk about Valentinos. But to RIP, I'm not sure how to say that last part. Top 3 Zerjoffs are as follows. My absolute favorite of all time, Naxos by Zerjoff. Next up, I'm going to go with my second favorite, 40 Knots by Zerjoff. And if you want to know my last favorite, I'm going to, this is a little bit of a tough one because there's another one I might would have put in front of it, but I'm going to go with Alexandria too. That is my other favorite. So thank you. I'm going to add King Sword real quick as a mod so you can help out. And then RIP. Hey, if you want to, I mean, like I said, I'm going to stop there for now. So I'm going to add, let me see real fast if I made sure I did that correctly. RIP, I'll add you as well. So whenever you guys, I don't know if this is a permanent thing, like now that I've added you, I don't know if I have to re-add you as a mod when you come back through. But like I said, it's very helpful. So if you guys start seeing any like wackies, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff on this channel, just throwing that out there. So hold on, no, it's permanent. Okay, cool. So bink, dink. So again, all right, RIP, you are now one too. So I'm stopping there for now. I'm not going to add any more mods for a while. So you 4 guys, whenever you guys are here, if you see anything, obviously I don't feel like I need to say this because I respect you dudes. Which one for allergic free? I'll get to that in just a second. Obviously, I don't think I need to say this to you guys, but if you guys are ever doing any activity yourself that unfortunately I can't be responsible for and respect, I'm going to have to remove you as mods from my chats. So just throwing it out there, but I'm pretty sure I don't need to say that to you guys. But to you guys who are here helping me now, I appreciate it because it'll be really cool to keep a healthy space for everyone. So now, getting to it with the Valentinos. This one I'm really growing to fall in love with some more. It doesn't have the best performance in the world, but this means a lot to me. Actually, as weird as this is going to sound, this fragrance actually makes me feel like I want to cry. I know that sounds very strange. By the way, me being very honest about stuff, if I ever do start getting emotional while I'm doing these streams, that's okay. Again, I'm trying to keep a healthy space here. We can always be open. When I start really talking about God, you might see me start crying. When I start talking about my life, when I start talking about people I love and family, when I do streams after my grandma passes away soon, you might see me cry, and that's all right. So, but with that being said, Green Extravaganza, absolutely fantastic. The men's Green Extravaganza and then the woman's Green Extravaganza, the Donna. That's what my wife, she wore it today. It means so much to me. It's the very first perfume I ever bought for my wife is Green Extravaganza. But for men, Coral Fantasy is my #1 favorite. And then next place, this is the Uomo, what is this? The Uomo Intense, I believe it is, but it doesn't have the pink. And there is a pink one that's also pretty good. But the brand new, I don't have it yet. And I'm probably not going to get it anytime soon. But the brand new, what is it called? Extra Dose. The new Extra Dose. I smelled it the other day, and it is fantastic. Although it's not something I would personally wear. Just throwing it out there. Once again, a lot of those are ones I wouldn't wear myself because they're not my style. I want Coral Fantasy to come out in an eau de parfum or a parfum edition because I am a bit of a baby about eau de toilettes. The only eau de toilette that I keep in my entire repertoire is the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. I know that makes me sound super bougie, okay? And as I stand in front of this fancy collection, I probably look like a bougie douche anyway, but just being really honest, I personally don't normally I don't buy eau de toilettes just for the simple fact that they have fantastic performance sometimes depending on who made it. But again, they're not the longest lasting things in the world for the most part. Not that all these are, but you get it. But for me personally, I think that I want Coral Fantasy to have a stronger concentration. If they come out with one, that Coral Fantasy in general is my favorite. And then this one. And then Green Extravaganza. I'll probably say that's the third. Green Extravaganza is probably my third favorite. But I'm with you at this point. It's hard for me to go back to EDT. I'm on Influencer. I've got at least 4 or 5 fragrances for free on there. Really? Dude, by the way, Redbeard, I forgot to tell you. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I went back and watched some of your videos. I know you haven't done any in quite a while, but I went back and saw that you were doing your reviews like you said. You did a great job. So if you ever think about doing that again, I'm fully on board, like supporting you and stuff like that. So I just want to throw that out to you, my buddy Jonathan. But JJ, no, definitely, I've become quite a bit of a little bougie baby when it comes to eau de toilettes because, again, I just like the feeling of having something that I know at least has a little bit stronger of a concentration of overall perfume. How do you base yourself regarding potency? You only buy parfum elixirs. So no, so basically what I'm saying is that I only buy eau de parfum, EDP parfums and elixirs, which are normally, ironically, eau de parfums as well. But yeah, for the most part, that's what I get. I will, for the sake of doing reviews, so to rehash and kind of rechange what I said, I will review eau de toilettes if there's one that's new, if it's worth doing, if it's popular. But for the most part, I'll get samples of eau de toilettes to talk about, but I'm not going to buy full bottles. If you see, I haven't showed you guys these before, but from Max Aroma, you can get these too, but they're more expensive and not worth it. If you go to FragranceNet, and I know some people think you can't trust these. Man, I need to buy, but kind of shy. Real quick, I definitely support you though. If you do end up thinking about it, I will totally support you getting back to doing that. Give y'all a little talk about EDT. It's fantastic. Ralph Lauren purple label. I haven't seen that before, but thank you for suggesting that. Check it out. Ever heard of discount perfumes? I have not, but thank you for saying that, because now I can give that a shot too. For the longest time, I actually talked to some people at one point in time from the FragranceNet area or website, and I used FragranceNet before I tried out Max Aroma, but I like FragranceNet a lot. But you can get these bad boys right here. You can get these little samples. What is this? The Armani Intensely. So yeah, you can get these little fragrance sample things. You can keep it in the little containers that it comes in for the sake of travel, or you can pop them out. And they are the real deal. They are the actual things. Like, I've compared, contrasted, and I've also again spoke to somebody, and like, these are the actual things. So you're not getting fakes. When you order from FragranceNet, they are a real big professional company. And when you order, that was the Intensely right here, by the way. Very awesome. As you know, I just got the Stronger With You Parfum, but hey, can you please recommend a signature scent? I'm a teenager and don't have a budget. So real quick, just so I know what you mean by you don't have a budget. To finish what I said before, when I, going forward, get eau de toilettes, you're right, they pop off the skin mostly, but the rest of them are my speed. I've been looking for a Valentino fragrance, tried out Born Aroma Uomo. What would you recommend? Coral Fantasy, but again, it's the eau de toilette, RIP, recommend Coral Fantasy. Or the new, if you can afford it, the new Extra Dose is pretty awesome. If you don't want to go that far, because it just came out, I think it's like $175 for 100 mil. You can still get the Born Aroma Intense with the pink label on it. So get that. Versace Dylan Blue. You're right. I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry for this. It sounds like a non-professional. I keep forgetting about Dylan Blue. It's not my style, but it is another eau de toilette that's very, very, very strong, very long-lasting fragrance. But to my buddy here, N.E. Andy, I think, who just asked, you're a teenager and you don't have a budget. So if by you don't have a budget, that means that you don't personally, like, you can buy whatever, like price is not an issue. I would say for you getting a signature scent, honestly, especially you being a teenager, not a lot of people around you will probably have this. The Armani, Imperial Armani Stronger With You, get either the Intense or get this bad boy right here, the new Parfum. It is very strong, very, very wonderful. Mandarin, kind of bubblegummy, but like mandarin with pink pepper. It's got leather, and it especially has like that chestnut feel to it. It's beautiful. Definitely say I'd buy a few if I didn't have a budget to be on. Yeah, me too. Tell me about it. As well, what Redbeard said before to you, N.E., because it's a pretty good price, especially if you go on a discount site, you can get Dylan Blue. That's a really good signature scent for a youngster, especially these days. Probably not as many people are wearing it as much as they used to. Another good signature scent, I would say, if you're young and just starting out, would be get Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. Fantastic choice for you, buddy. So if you're a teenager and you're looking for a signature scent, I would say get one of these guys. So again, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, get the Eau Intense. Again, what else did I say? I don't even remember. Basically, at this point, you can get either Versace Eros as well. So definitely a handful of choices for you. If you're looking to get yourself a nice, again, Coral Fantasy by Valentino, pretty good choices for you as a signature scent, just depending on what your overall vibe is. But I just want to tell you guys who are here, by the way, watching, who stuck around. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Actually, you know what? I don't know who really is watching at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and say something. It pays to buy the bigger bottles, to be honest. It really does. Just letting you know, to any youngsters who come through here and want to think about what fragrances to buy, Redbeard Jonathan, he's completely correct. If you guys are considering buying a fragrance, especially a designer fragrance, I highly recommend any of them, really. I highly recommend you get the bigger bottles that you can, because if you look at the price difference, it's a ripoff kind of buying a smaller bottle for the most part. Not always, sometimes, including some Tom Fords that I've seen. There's a giant chasm between the small bottle versus the big bottle. But by and large, being completely honest with you guys, if you get the smaller bottle, the 1.7 or the 50 mil, most of the time the price difference is pretty stupid. To give you an idea, when I got the Stronger With You Parfum the other day, being dead honest with you, it I believe was 115, like 115 or $110 for the Stronger With You 1.7 or 50 mil. So this is when my buddy Jonathan here says to get yourself the bigger bottle, depending on which one you're getting. It was 130. So for 110 or 15 versus 130 for the bigger bottle, that little extra $15, you might as well get the bigger bottle. What if I'm trying to expand my collection and want to save some money? In that case, then yes, depending on what you're going for, especially most of the time, if you're getting cheaper bottles like Vulcan Feu and all that stuff, liquid broom, most of the time when you're doing cheaper fragrances and stuff, you're going to get 100 mils anyway, or 3.4s. But if you're getting designer fragrances or niche fragrances, really depending on the fragrance that you get, it can just be the same price difference for the most part, like $15 to $30 difference, which might sound like a lot to a lot of people. But if you're buying a fragrance, thinking about how much percentage difference you're getting out of the fragrance bottle, because think about this again, $115 for the smaller bottle, $134, something like that for the bigger bottle. Think about how much more fragrance you're getting for that little bit of a price difference. So that's only why in those cases. But if you're just trying to expand your collection, you know, for teens, I would go with Invictus Platinum Eau de Parfum. That's a fantastic choice. My buddy King Sword here, that's a good option. I had the same Dior Sauvage 6.8 since 2018. I'm just now finishing it. That's awesome. To be real with you, this right here is the most, as you see how many bottles I have, this is the absolute most I've gone through a single bottle that I own. Because unless I'm trying to get people's opinions of fragrances at my job, most of the time I don't really put on that much. I really don't like fragrances where I have to spray 8 to 10 sprays on me just to get anything out of it. I like fragrances where I can put on like 4 to maybe 7 max, but I like to do like 4 to 5 sprays, if that. So for me, I barely even get through my fragrances. Ryan, I'm 15. Can you tell me some affordable fragrances? So again, that also depends on what fragrance, what affordability means to you. And that's different for everybody. So it's a little bit tough. I'd rather have quality over quantity. You're absolutely correct, my friend. So affordable, good fragrances for a 15-year-old. Honest to God, I think that these Dolce & Gabbana light blues and things like Versace Eros are affordable to me. But that's just me. I'm 32. But like if you're thinking $70 to $120, if that's affordable to you, then definitely get like Dolce & Gabbana light blue Eau Intense, Club de Nuit, Intense Man. That is to me like very affordable. It's like $50. Stuff like Liquid Brune, if you want very affordable, this is like $30. So you can get this for $30 if that's kind of like your if that's your level of affordability. But if $80 to $130 is okay with you as far as affordability is concerned, I like to steer you starting your collection off towards something. Do you decant your bottles? I personally don't. With a collection your size, do you think it would be better to get smaller bottles? Oh, sorry, I didn't answer that. So real quick, backing it up. For a collection like my size, I think that going forwards, it would be definitely wise for me. Again, recently I've only been buying the Middle Eastern fragrances and clones and dupes and stuff. I hate saying clone, by the way, because I keep feeling like it's going to sound like I'm saying cologne, but especially with my accent. But with these guys, they only normally come in 100 mil for the most part. But basically going forwards, if I get like bigger fragrances, like when I got Black Lacquer by Tom Ford, first of all, the price was ridiculous, but I got the 30 mil. So for the most part going forwards, when I get like other fragrances, unless I just can't because they don't offer it, I'm going to get the smaller sizes because I don't have any room at this point until I build up some more shelving in our other room. I don't have room for more stuff. So I literally, because over here's where like, you can't see it off camera because I went out for a second. Over here's all my wife's like pants and clothes and stuff. And then this used to be where like my socks and stuff were. I had to put them on another shelf because I got all these. A lot of these right here, I might actually give away at some point. A lot of these like cheaper fragrances and stuff. Again, no shade on people enjoying cheaper fragrances. And honestly, doing these live streams is one of the only reasons that I have that I'm not giving away fragrances, because you guys might not understand this. So definitely my buddy here, was it Mega Man, asking if I do. Oh, by the way, Boss Bottled Absolute. Sorry, Nasky, for asking. I didn't answer you. Boss Bottled Absolute or Dior Sauvage Elixir? Personally, Dior Sauvage Elixir. I think Boss Bottle Absolute is cheaper, but it depends on who you are. I think Dior Sauvage Elixir is a classic. It's incredibly powerful, and I love it. But Boss Bottle Absolute is a really good choice. But I would say Dior Sauvage Elixir, that's just me. So no offense to anybody who would choose the other. But no, I don't decant my bottles because I don't really have a way to, I don't have the ability right now and the time to go ship all those things, especially with the way our local community post office works here at the place I live. But also, in general, I'm keeping all these until I get to doing stuff like that, until down the road. Because real quick, I'm from Tennessee and it sounds that way. It sounds like I say, absolutely, we Southerners, buddy. I don't even know how I really sound to you guys. This might sound, even though everything I do is genuine when I'm talking to you guys and I'm never trying to sell you stuff, there is one thing that I do that my wife said I do when I'm doing these videos that I don't mean to do. Now, if you guys are from America, any of you guys who are from America who might notice that some people might notice I might have a Southern accent, I might not, because I've been told, just like when British people sing, and for some reason, except for like one of my favorite bands, Don Broco or like Sleep Token, when they sing, for a lot of time, you can hear the British in their voice, their accent. But there's a lot of times when people sing and they lose their accent. Well, for me, when I'm doing these lives, or like when I'm doing a video and I've got my presenter voice, I guess it comes out. I don't even mean to do it, but I sound way more country and Southern when I'm not doing videos than I do when I'm doing them. But yeah, that's right. That's why you understand me better. But I will throw this out there, by the way. So here's another reason that I am really happy, other than having this community and connecting to you guys, that I started doing these live streams. So this is the only time I'll probably bring this up, because you few guys who are currently watching right now, for the most part, and who've stuck around this long, are people who've been watching me for a while, and like we're actual buddies now. So it doesn't really bother me saying this, but just letting you guys know, one of the other reasons I'm super happy now to be doing these live streams is to connect with you, to build a community where we're actually connected here. And it's not just me, Andrew, or AKA Douglas Moon, but it's also all you guys becoming a part of this with me. So a big thing for me was, as you see, I got my silver play button, but like I said during the thing about it, that is bittersweet, because again, I got my silver play button as my channel was growing, but also after I used those promotions on a couple of videos, my algorithm got killed. I'm not going to keep talking about that, but it has been a struggle regrowing my algorithm after I tried that. With that being said, though, hey, I'm glad I came across your feed. We absolutely do relate, brother, and I'm grateful for you being here, man. But real quick, the last thing I'll say is that YouTube, still to this day, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I haven't told you guys about this before because it's not something to be proud of, but it's the most embarrassing thing in the world to have a silver play button, but YouTube is still not paying me. You want to know why they're not paying me? Because they still haven't approved me for my hours. And you want to know what I mean by that? My channel and my analytics, and I can literally screenshot this and post this. I'm not going to, because I was told by a friend of mine who is a paid content creator on YouTube that they might see it and really punish me for this. So I'm saying this during a live stream where there's nobody from YouTube is probably watching this, but no joke, I can screenshot, and I might actually post on my Instagram if you guys ever want to see it, or just send it to you in a message. My watch hours is nearly 7,000. That's how many watch hours I have. I'm not talking about YouTube Shorts. My watch hours is nearly 7,000 on YouTube. But guess what? YouTube, as far as valid hours they're giving me credit for, is 1,500. So at this point, I'm still not even a partner. Now, how embarrassing is that? YouTube validated my subscribers. They went through. YouTube won't give you any credit for stuff that's fake. Just letting you know that. YouTube will not give you as a channel credit for things that are fake. So unless they're punishing you, they will not give you credit for anything that's not real. So I have a YouTube silver play button that I got even the paperwork for. This is real for the Douglas Moon channel. They know my subscribers are real. Not only did they kill my algorithm, but as well, like I said, they won't even approve my watch hours. They're doing it very slowly. What I've discovered, though, is me doing these watch streams with you guys. I'm about to get back to fragrances real quick, by the way, just throwing it out there. But you're absolutely correct, JJ. So to get paid, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. I'm from West Virginia. Got told I talk like a city slicker. I'm the Eastern. Hey, you know what? Getting told you talk like a city slicker can be pretty funny. It's never happened to me, but my son used to say he wanted to be a city slicker, and now he's like, screw that, I'm a country boy. But just to finish this up, because newer people coming through probably bail out, but that's all right. We're almost done anyway. But being dead honest with you, so to become a paid YouTuber, you have to hit 4,000 hours just once ever. You have to hit one of two things. In 3 months, I think it is, you have to get either 10 million shorts views, which is extremely impossible for most people, or you have to get 4,000 watch hours in 365 days, just once. If you do that, forever after that, you get paid. Thank you for subscribing. Anything to help anyone real. I really appreciate that. Is it Kelsey? I don't know where you're from. Anything if you're from America, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're from America. But Kelsey, I hope I pronounced your name right, or Kelsey. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I mean, Kelsey. Okay, I'm very sorry. No disrespect at all. I always try to pronounce people's names right. But I appreciate you guys so much for like your support, because I'm just literally trying to get paid from this. Let me rephrase that. That sounded really bad. I'm not saying that I don't care about all this and I'm being fake. I'm saying that at this point, because I got a play button and I got fragrances and I love this and I love doing this, I love meeting you guys and developing this thing so much. And I want to actually be able to get something in return as well from it, just beyond this community. So hopefully it doesn't sound greedy or selfish to you guys. And I'm sorry if it makes me sound like a douche. But I feel like with as much YouTube has gotten from me, because I've had other people tell me that on my videos, there are ads running. So I've got like my Naxos video, my Zerjoff Naxos video has got 67,000 views. Let me tell you something. My Creed Aventus video has 41,000 views. And I've been told by many people it's got like ads running on it when you watch it. And guess what? I'm not getting a dime from it. I'm not getting paid for that. So my videos has got like 100 views. I don't really care. My videos has got like 5,000 views. I don't really care. But when I got videos, hey there, F Fair, I really appreciate you guys, by the way, for saying that. Like, it means the world to me for you guys actually liking what I do and like watching my videos or spending this time with me. So I don't mean to complain too much, because I'm grateful for this. So when you hear me talk about what YouTube not paying me and junk, I don't mean to sound like a big like whiny baby. But it is, like, it's frustrating when you're doing something you love and you've gotten any kind of attention or attraction for it. Again, I have like an actual award from YouTube. But again, it's like a big slap in the face, because YouTube sends me an award, but they won't pay me any money. So what's your favorite PDM? Natsky, I'll answer that real quick and then I'll finish what I've been saying. My favorite Parfums de Marly. That is a tough one, because it changes, honestly, from time to time. I think, even though I don't have the original anymore, I gave it away as a gift to my buddy Sam. Out There might be my number one favorite. And then after that, it goes... Actually, I'm going to say this. Out There, Pegasus, Leighton, and then Percival. And then lastly is Carlisle. By the way, I'm about to do something super crazy. I'm readjusting my my little... Oh, no, I'm so stupid. I'm sorry, you guys. My favorite PDM is Herod. So I'm going to go with that. Your question made him really think. It did. It really did. Natsky, thank you for being here. By the way, I like your name, because I don't know if you guys ever watched Abroad in Japan. He's one of my favorite YouTubers of all time. I read his book. He's amazing. If that man ever somehow, which he won't, because I don't think he cares at all about perfumery, but if Chris Broad ever comes across me, that'd be super cool. Me and my wife actually plan to go to Japan on a trip sometime in the next 2 years. After we went to Germany, we're trying to do something more in Asia, and we love a lot of Japanese like materials and content and stuff. Not to get nerdy out, but Natsuki, or Natsuki, it's how it's pronounced, is like one of Chris Broad's like best friends, and he's been in a lot of videos of his and stuff like that. So you love Chris Broad? Yes! Not to nerd out real quick, but you guys will see me get really excited. So to you, Natsuki, I love Chris Broad. Abroad in Japan is so good. I love watching Trash Taste. I don't know if you know about Connor and the boys, Sea Dog and them. So I love that stuff. So thank you guys for letting me talk about that for a second. But anyway, Herod is definitely probably my favorite Parfums de Marly, and then it goes down Out There and all the rest of them that I said. But as you see, I got Greenlee right here, and I am giving this away. Just letting you guys respectfully. I know about perfume and colognes, but I like your vibe. And okay. Well, I'll tell you what. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because I'm here to educate to you. my buddy Kelsey. Sorry, I had to look again because even though I got these big glasses, these huge like Hubble telescopes on my face, it doesn't always help me to see from the distance of my phone. But even if people come through here and you just like talking with me and stuff, just throwing this out there to anybody who's new here, I'm going to be doing these live streams. What's up, Tyler? Thank you, Tyler French, for being here. To anybody who don't know, you know what, Tyler, I'm going to add you as well. I'm going to make you a mod real fast. Add as a moderator because I added a couple people to be a mod so who can help me out. But so yeah, just throwing this out there. Anybody who comes through here, even if you don't really care about fragrances all that much, that's fine. Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't help me on like my main videos. So if you just can even humor me and go watch my other videos and like let them gather watch time, drop a comment or something, I'd appreciate that because it helps me a lot. But even if you guys just want to come through and shoot the breeze on these live streams, to those of you like Kelsey who's new here, every Wednesday, unless something major happens, you are welcome here. We're going to be doing this all morning. Because again, that's the part I trailed off from to the people who are just coming in here. And Tyler, I love you, bro. I'm so happy that you're here. Same to you, Redbeard, and like everybody. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm about to watch the Zurge Off Naxos video when this is over. That brings me loads of joy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you even taking the time, RIP. But so much responsibility. Yep, that's right, Tyler. You are now fully responsible for the comment section of my channel with the rest of the people who've been added to the mods. You don't know this, Tyler. You don't know why I'm saying this, but earlier there was I was talking about my beliefs, talking about God, trying to be open with everybody, just have discussion. And there was a dude who got kind of inflamed and was like kind of going off at the mouth in his own thoughts and like really bashing stuff in his own way. Nothing like cussing anybody out, but it is what it is. But anyway, just real quick to Kelsey, anybody, like I said, who's new here. When I do these Wednesdays and stuff, it's just talking about life, talking about whatever, and having a good time. There's really no rules to this. Like the channel is about fragrances and stuff like that, and not educate people and ask you any questions, but it is what it is. Keep it up. You're starting to get back to where you were. Just have faith. You're absolutely right, dude. Thank you, Redbeard. Like, again, just to finish what I was saying earlier, not getting paid by YouTube really sucks. So as I was saying, like you have to hit your hours to be able to start getting paid from YouTube. So it doesn't matter if you get awards, it doesn't matter what you get. If you don't hit your hours, you won't get paid. So I didn't know until after I did like my last live stream, because I haven't even looked, to be honest with you, to see what they've been doing my hours. Because like I said, I've got almost over 7,000 watch hours, and yet they're only giving me credit for this small fraction. So when I started doing these live streams, I didn't even think it helped because I know a lot of things don't help. So just to let you know, a lot of stuff like shorts hours don't help. So I figured maybe doing live streams didn't help either. But guess what? I was wrong. I found out that my watch hours, the valid ones, had went up 250 watch hours since I started doing these live streams with you guys. So that just gave me the biggest boost of incentive to do these live streams with you guys, and honestly to go as long as I can handle going. I even cracked jokes with my wife the other day. Your fan base is true. You're absolutely right, Kelsey. Yeah, man, for sure. Let's keep this positive space. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And like I said, I appreciate you guys so much. But yeah, Kelsey, like you said, it's so awesome to me to at least you guys who are here. There's like a list now. I was literally talking to my wife yesterday and like bringing up you guys' screen names and everything that I could remember. I like this list of people who are just here watching and talking to me every Wednesday. It's so nice, especially with stuff that's been going on in life recently, like outside of doing this and everything. With stuff going on with family, like grandma about to pass away and all that stuff. It's been so nice just to have this place to come talk with people about everything. And like one day, hopefully, I get to actually meet each of you guys in person. So I would love that. Like when I watch Jeremy Fragrance, as crazy as that man can be, he's a master at being wacky for an audience and stuff like that. And thank you, buddy. Thank you, Red Bear, for saying that. I am not alone, and neither are any of you guys. So it is like such a blessing to, by the way, if you see me lick my lips like a lizard a lot, it's because my mouth gets super dry, especially after talking for 2 hours. But it is such a blessing to have a bunch of people out there that I get to talk with, because even though you guys aren't able to talk with me face to face, I'm not sure if you can. I saw earlier that there's a way, I think, to add people to the live stream or whatever, although that might be a little crazy, but I could try that at some point. But let's see, Wednesdays are my only days off. Well, they're my days off too, so I think you are meant to be here, buddy. Might need to grab myself a chair. I should do that. Well, trying to burn some more calories because I do got 30 pounds to lose. But it is awesome to be able to. I'm so glad that you guys are here because Wednesdays is my day off. I'm off Saturdays and Sundays. And like I said at the very beginning of this stream, I'm going to try to maybe do like Saturday and Sunday mornings. I can spare an hour and a half. I can spare an hour to 2 hours every Saturday and Sunday morning because even on my days off, today, Saturday and Sunday, I'm still awake at 4:30 or 5. So basically, my wife still has to work Wednesdays, but we love riding together. We love talking. As you can see, I like to talk a lot. I like thinking about life a lot. So my wife and me just shoot the breeze she works an hour away. We both do. After we move, we work an hour away. So we drive an hour, and it's honestly pretty fun. We shoot the breeze. So when I get these days off, though, my wife sleeps like a rock, so I can come in here in our closet through the bathroom and honestly do these videos even on Saturdays and Sundays. So I might get to talk to you guys. And you guys working 12-hour shifts, I really feel for you. I only work 10s, so I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I work 10-hour shifts, and it's pretty crazy. I'm up early on one day off. Try hardest not to be. I love being up early. To be honest with you guys, sleeping late makes me feel uncomfortable. I like to do things. I like to move. My buddy here, Redbeard, is at work right now getting things done. I really appreciate you even having this going while I'm at work. But no, my schedule is fantastic. So because of health stuff, I've got inflammatory bowel disease, and I also have 3 herniated discs in my back from an accident and injury that happened. And so with the bowel problems and a few other things that's going on in my body, certain places have arthritis. I went through a lot of health stuff these past years, took a lot of time to figure some stuff out. And a long story short, it's better to have days off than to be off. And you said we can agree to disagree. You got that right. But I definitely like to have my time. So my job is really awesome. Candle Science, awesome place. They have their issues, including a recent mass firing, but the company had their reasons for what they did. They did layoffs. But my job that I work at, they're great people. I love working with them, especially my supervisor, my manager, and my crew that I'm around. So, and I get to work around fragrances all day, so it's awesome. And so with my health stuff, me and a handful of other people got to kind of configure our schedule how we want it. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I work 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And it's great. Gets the work done. I enjoy myself. I get my weekends and I get my Wednesdays, and I get to be with you guys. So like I said, if you guys ever have a Saturday or a Sunday morning available, if you guys don't mind being there, I'm going to probably start doing these things around those times as well. And we'll all be in this together. And by the way, if I'm not sure about the overall battery life of these new microphones that I got a new pack because the ones that I originally have are a little bit on the cheaper side. But I definitely would like you guys to always remind me or let me know if the audio starts sounding funky or something like that. So that'd be very helpful. But the older I get, the more I want to sleep. Just right now, 2 chicken coops. Well, first of all, it's really cool that you're working on them chicken coops. I'm sorry that your wrists are messed up, and I hope you start feeling better soon, or that there is a way for you to get better. I don't know if it's a more long-term thing. But see, this is what I'm talking about. It feels really cool. I wish I could hear you guys' voice, you could do a live phone call type of thing when we're doing this. I'll see if there's any options like that or something like that, because if you're willing to, I know a lot of you guys like Redbeard, you'd be really shy. But it's fun to get to talk to you guys. It feels like we're just all hanging out right now. So if I'm ever in any of you guys' direction, I'm about to answer your question, Tyler. If I'm ever out you guys' way, let me know. I'd love to hang out with you guys. I don't know when that would happen, but that'd be really cool. Man on the phone, it's different. Yeah, it is. But I should be here on weekends. So that's my last Wednesday off. Well, hey, you know what? That's totally cool that you can't come on Wednesdays, but from now on, you and me definitely on Saturdays and Sundays hopefully get a chance to hang out. But the scent that I'm wearing today, wearing the Tarathi Blue. It's a 9 out of 10. So Tyler, real quick, I do want to know, by the way, sorry, Kelsey, I'm sorry that you broke it and you're paying for it now. But like I said, I hope you at least get some peace for it sometimes. And RIP, like I said, I hate that you're not going to be able to be here on Wednesdays, but we'll see you on the weekends. Most I've talked on a live before, and please tell your wife thank you for letting us get some of your time. Hey, like I said, she's happy about it. She loves what I'm doing with the channel. She loves how much I'm working at this. Real quick, I do want to know, Tyler, is that Tarathi Blue, does it perform good? I wanted to get a bottle, but I saw mixed reviews that it doesn't have good longevity. You never can trust reviews, but sometimes you can. I want to get a bottle, so let me know if it actually, because I don't even know what it smells like. So thank you, Tyler, for letting me know that. real quick, my fragrance of the day is, and I haven't even done a fragrance of the day short yet. I'm doing it after this, but 6 hours, but I'm letting it macerate. That's perfect. I'm wanting to get a bottle of Redbeard. Me too. So I'm thinking about it. But my fragrance of the day is Versace Eros Parfum. I'm re-falling in love with this. This is becoming one of my favorite fragrances of all time. It's just so good. Such incredible longevity, such a good performance. Like, this bleeds off of you. When people don't talk about this enough for being a nuclear bomb, just like Sauvage Elixir, I'm not joking you. If you put the Eau de Parfum on, but as well, especially if you get the Eros Parfum, it smells so good for a designer fragrance. It's amazing. This and the Armani Code Parfum, if you get your hands on this, these are monsters, and they just bleed off of you and smell so good. Favorite perfume is Old, from what I've been told. Revlon Fire and Ice. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what? My aunt had that a long time ago. That is not a bad fragrance. So if you wear that and it smells good and you enjoy it, that's awesome. But yeah, dude, my wife really loves that I do this. She's very supportive. Otherwise, like I said, after we sold the house and I was able to use like a chunk of that money to start all this so I could get going with it, my wife's super supportive of what I'm doing, and it brings her what she has her own thing. Like, a long time ago, I kind of like inspired her to start her business that she does. And again, we can talk more about that if you guys got any questions. But along with her job, she does full time working with flowers and as a floral wholesaler for florists. She works at a company called Mayish where they do that. She as well has she does a flower preservation business for people who have weddings and funerals. So really awesome. And that whole thing really came to be from her last job where she did that as the artist and then the manager. And then my friends got the real starter collection. Yeah. If anybody's ever like, hey, what's the starter collection? I'm like, just go buy everything. If you want to know what a good starter collection is, get everything that they've got. If they said we got more, get that too. I'm just kidding. Would love to know more. Love working outside and learning with nature. Yeah, definitely. So I'll explain some more of that in just a little bit. But my wife, basically at her old job, where she was the professional artist, then became the manager of the shop. The place, they're not in business anymore. She was offered the chance to buy the business, but it wasn't the best idea at the time. So she ended up, through connections from that, went to work for the floral wholesaler, where she's like a main accounts specialist there. Like, she works as a representative, like a handful of other people do, for a florist, and make sure they get their flowers and stuff. Which she's also made a lot of connections, which has led to her being able to spread out and to get more clients for her own business. So basically, what she is very expensive. I would never pay for this stuff. Like, she does an incredible job, but like, this stuff's so expensive to me. It's worse than colognes, like, no joke. But it's worth the money because it lasts forever. But long story short, what my wife does is she preserves. So if you have a bouquet or flowers from a funeral or a wedding or whatever you have, you give it to her. She preserves it so where they are literally dried out and they will never, ever, ever fade or wilt. But the colors do fade during the drying process. So what she does is she has a special paint just for flowers that you have to really learn for a long time how to use the right technique. She sprays the flowers and makes them look like they did brand new, but it doesn't look cheap or nothing. It looks just like the real deal, but even more vibrant. And then she constructs it back into the bouquet like it looked like when it was still fresh, puts it in a shadow box or with glass or glass domes and multiple other things. And then you can hang it on the wall. You can put it on your mantelpiece, whatever. So that's what my wife does. She reconstructs and preserves bouquets from funerals and weddings and stuff so that they last forever. And King Sawyer, I have no idea what you even said. Hold on, let me go back real quick. My favorite old scent. Oh my gosh, I've never heard of that either. It does sound interesting. So what's the shelf difference? Is it top tier? I think I'm going to do a test run of City Jasmine. That sounds fantastic. I'm trying to look through these real quick because I missed out on some stuff. And yeah, I never heard of that either. And as far as my shelves go, I like the white EDP as the winner. It's fantastic. But as far as the shelves go, there is no real method to this, to be honest with you guys. I just kind of went with it, threw it all together. It's so floral and fresh. Oh man, I'm glad you suggested that then. Because like I said, I cannot say this enough, by the way. Rose scented things, tube rose, any kind of rose for the most part, unless it smells like very too fruity, like people do fruity florals. I love rose and floral scents very much. One of my favorite profiles in the entire world. So if you guys ever got good rose scented fragrances, please suggest them because I've already got a handful and there's a couple more I'm going to get. So I really appreciate you guys' suggestions and definitely love everything you guys got to say and stuff. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, just to finish real quick, there is no method to this for the most part, except for Over here is where I keep all my dupes, cheaps, or extras. Like I got a few extra Zerjoffs that are backup bottles of this. This, for the most part, I guess there is kind of a method. Up here is like either designer and then as well my initios and stuff. And then from here, it's all basically, the majority of my collection is niche. Down at the bottom, there's also like 9 more Zerjoffs and a handful of other things. So if you love Rose, so yeah, somebody else suggested Toy Boy for me as well. I really want to check that out. By the way, thank you so much for Nasky for letting me know that. Also, super awesome again that you love Chris Broad. What's the best dupe, male or female? So I will answer that. My thoughts, you guys, my mods, my buddies, whoever, you guys can answer your thoughts as well in the comments. But long story to finish, and thank you for saying it looks nice. By the way, I'm holding this greenly because I'm giving this away. So just throwing it out there because my buddy Sam, in exchange, he got me something that is like, it was only $50. But no shade at him. But I just personally just was like, you know what? I never wear this or the dupe of this. I don't wear this. It's nice. It's very nice, but it's just not my style. And my wife doesn't really care for it too much either. So it's pretty. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's got pretty good performance, but that's super cool, man. Yeah, like he likes this a lot, and his girlfriend really likes this. So I was like, I'll give it to him. So at the end of the day, yeah, if I have things that like I don't really wear, that aren't really for me, at the end of the day, there's no reason why people around me that I'm like close to and stuff can't have it. I'm going to buy Aether as a dupe for Greenleaf. That's a good choice. To be honest with you, it's not like my favorite. Again, not my thing, but it's still a good choice. And Redbeard, hey man, if you were closer, you never know, we could have made some type of deal here. But because I'm too lazy to ship, that's all. To ship things out. But started my collection with Dior Sauvage, and then got JPG Elixir, getting YSL EDP. All fantastic choices, my friend. But basically, to say what's a good dupe or a good clone for like men and women, I kind of always go back to this 100%. Liquid Broom is probably one of my favorite dupes / clones of all time. Liquid Broom and Vanilla Dunes, they're both the same thing out there. But both the same take on out there, but got to be one of my absolute favorite dupes / clones of all time because it's just perfect in comparison to the original. I like it honestly even more because of its price versus like its actual performance. So even though I'm personally not a dupe / clone guy, these are incredible. You can't go wrong with them. So this is like $30. So Liquid Broom, BRUN by French Avenue, incredible. Exact same way with people, but and I'll read the rest of that in just a second. Also, honestly, not a bad choice, even though I won't really ever hardly wear it, because I adore the original. One of my favorite fragrances of all time, Reflection by Amouage, buttery, wonderful, beautiful iris. One of my wife's favorite fragrances as well. She layers it with Black Opium by YSL. This baby right here is almost identical to it. It's not. So here's the thing. If you guys ever smell iris in something, it's really not hard to replicate. Excuse me. If you're a good perfumer with iris, a lot of things will smell just like Reflection if it's that case. The new Gucci Guilty Elixir. My mom almost got that for me for my birthday over the Capri in Love by Dolce & Gabbana. I almost got the Gucci Guilty Elixir until I was like, wait a minute. This is like a not as good Reflection because it was just very iris forward. And I was like, this is nice. But it's just like Reflection almost with a small variation. I was like, I don't need this. But this is supposed to be a clone. This is Shiyaka by Lattafa, Shyyaaka. And it honestly smells very perfect, close to it. So even though I don't like clones all that much, depending on the situation, if you would like a copy of that, this is a really good choice. One more fresh stuff now in Tennessee, absolutely. And yes, that other one was very fancy bottle. Do you have a Leighton clone? Have you tried Amber Oud Blue exclusive? Tyler, I have not tried that. I don't have any Leighton clones. I have 2 bottles of Leighton. I've got Leighton exclusive, but I haven't tried any Leighton clones, and I've seen people talk about them. I'm sure there's plenty that are pretty decent. By the way, I didn't say this earlier, but Kelsey, thank you for all your comments because I really appreciate, like you said, you've never really talked this much in a live stream before. I really appreciate you being a part of this. All of you guys. Dude, I thank you guys so much. Like, again, I'm a sentimental fella. I cry a lot. I've had a lot of loss. I've experienced a lot of bad things in my life. So being a 32-year-old guy who's been blessed to have, again, to anybody who don't know, I'm still going to talk about this because it's not for me. It's for other people out there who are suffering with addiction. 7 years, as of Sunday, 7 years of alcohol, drugs, all that stuff. Had a pretty intense life. not worse than like so many other people out there. So many other people got it way worse than me. But my life was tough. So when I get to look now at what God's done in my life, where I'm 7 years sober, I've got people watching these videos of me talk about these collections that I love, about fragrances. Even though I'm so frustrated about not getting paid to do YouTube yet, you guys are helping me get there, and I just love you guys so much. I thank you guys very much more than you know for you guys being here. It means the world to me. So thank you guys for your support, for being there with me and stuff. Like, it really does. It means the world to me, and I appreciate you guys so very much. And I'm not going to stop saying that, even if it drives you nuts. Spring is the best season. I personally, you know what? I really like spring, but I love fall the most. Fall and then Christmas time. Christmas actually this past year became my favorite holiday. Still love Halloween, but Christmas became my favorite because something I'm really starting to love, like Christmas decoration and stuff like that. Although I'm a big baby, and my wife likes to do it, but I don't like doing it in our house because I'm lazy with that kind of stuff, and I don't like having to take it all down. But I love me some fall. And thank you guys for your congratulations. It means the absolute world to me. Congratulations to you. I just saw 3 years for you. Absolutely congratulations to you. Hey, get Lalique, White and Black, Great Leighton Calm. By the way, any of my mods like Tyler French, Redbeard, if you guys ever have fragrance questions and I miss you guys' answers and stuff, or I don't answer you guys, any of these dudes, I totally recommend you listen to them as well and trust them too. But I see Oud Mineral. You sure do see Oud Mineral. Or that is what this is. I actually did the review for this weeks ago, so I'm going to stop doing what I've been doing, by the way. My actual like 5 to 10 minute long real reviews I do, which again, the biggest thing, other than being here and watching these live streams and talking with me, the biggest thing you guys can do to help me hit those goals is to my actual videos. Don't worry about the shorts. The shorts are just there, me doing my daily thing, but my actual full-length videos that I have of doing real reviews, if you guys who are watching can go watch them, leave comments, hit the like button, and then maybe even share those to like other pages. Any of you guys who are willing to do that, by the way, that means the world to me, because that is what's going to help me keep growing and have my full-length videos, keep getting those views that I need to keep getting to those goals. So any of you guys willing to do that, and also remember, it's very important for the success of those videos in the algorithm that you watch them at least halfway, if not all the way through. And I don't care if you 2 times speed it or whatever, but just letting you guys know, for the biggest support for my channel to keep growing, other than watching these live streams, just watch my full-length review videos. I'm throwing it out there to say, I normally had been recording. I like to be way ahead. So while I can be really lazy with some stuff, I like being super ahead. I'm going to get back to this, by the way, to my buddy who asked. I like to get super ahead, so I normally keep 12 to 15 video actual reviews filmed at one time. I know that sounds crazy, but I really like staying ahead. So I literally have 12 videos still recorded already and edited on my phone of actual like reviews still to be posted. But I did tell myself, because I want to do better than I had done on those, like as far as audio, I didn't even have microphones by the time I finished my last review. So I told myself going forwards, instead of keeping so many, I'm just going to start doing in one day, because it also gives you nose fatigue. 4 for the month. So 1 each week, other than me coming to do these live streams. So, and by the way, good morning, Michael. Michael Hanna, thank you for being here, buddy. And I'm going to look at you guys' comments again here in a second, I promise. I'm sorry for getting derailed. I just want to tell you that basically going forward, that's what I'm going to do is instead of recording so many, because my wife was right. Sometimes your opinions and thoughts change. Those reviews I've put out, because I do want to go back and rehash them later. But like my feelings about the thing I talked about are completely different. My Alexandria 2 by Zerjoff review from months and months ago, like when I posted it, by the time I even posted it, my thoughts on it had completely changed. I hated it at first, and I talked about thinking it was well made, but I didn't like it. Then later on, I was like, well, I do love it. So anyway, Redbeard, you're hot-blooded. Let me see. He is definitely, he is hot-blooded. I've been to watch your videos, love fragrance videos. Not sure how this works, but want to support as much as possible. Different times, what do you count more? So basically, just so you guys know what works the best, and then I promise I'll talk about this. I promise. But basically, what works the best is my full-length review videos that are like I said, anywhere from 4 or 5 minutes to 10 minutes long. Watching them, so pull them up and then watch as long as you can. So like I said, halfway through, or watch the whole thing, 2 times speed, whatever. Watch time and how long people watch your videos is what counts the most. to help you out, to get your video boosted in the algorithm. So if people only watch 15 seconds or like for 1 minute, it doesn't help as much as somebody watching the whole 4 minutes or however long. So watch time and then leaving comments. And then if you can, sharing that video to like your Facebook or whatever you got, if you're willing to ever do something like that. But just watching and commenting means the most to me and hitting the like button. That's what helps. So like I said, I'm just trying to hit that point where I start getting paid for this, because even though I have gotten some free things in the past for certain reasons, what is this? Haha, hey, I'm a red. That's true. He is a red guy. Calls himself Redbeard. I really love, by the way, your name being Redbeard, because it's kind of made me think about pirates. I don't know if anybody cares about this, but also on top of all the other stuff I'm passionate about, when I was a kid, I loved the beach. I used to go, if you know what Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in America is, I used to go there with my family every year since I was not even 1 year old yet. And I've always loved pirate themed stuff. And I've read books about Blackbeard and stuff. So I love pirate oriented things. And I even love like One Piece. So yeah, if you guys know Redbeard, I love your name. You got my favorite screen name of all. I love Myrtle Beach. Me too. Where are you from, RIP? I cannot remember if you told me before. But Myrtle Beach, I don't care what people say about it to this day. It's like a lot of people out there will act kind of trashy, no offense, be crazy. I still love going there though, because I've been going there, like I said, since I was a kid. And he is too. His dad is from Africa, and he also has red hair. Oh, you're talking about red hair. That's awesome. But yeah, so real quick, just to finish that up, you guys watching the full videos and stuff, that helps. You sharing, commenting, that helps so much. So I appreciate you guys and your support. But again, like I said, when I found out that watch time from these live streams count towards your videos, I was like, yes, when it counts towards you getting it. So if you guys keep watching, you guys commenting on here and sharing these things around, it helps me so much. Because again, I just want to stop feeling bitter about getting my play button. I want to start actually, I don't care if it ain't much money. I think the statistics from what the admin said was that for every 1,000 views, it's 18 cents per 1,000 views that you get basically on doing a live stream, for instance. So like, I don't care. Excuse me, not 18. Yeah. No, it's $18 per 1,000 views or something along those lines. I don't really care. Either way, even if I only made like $40 or $18 doing this, I would love that. It would mean so much to me. So you guys watching my other videos and commenting and sharing them, if you can help me stick to that point where I'm getting paid, that's the last time I'll say it, I swear. I appreciate that so much. But anyway, I thank you guys for your support. Now, before I start talking more about Myrtle Beach, I will say, this is Oud Mineral. I don't even know if my buddy who commented about Oud Mineral is still here. I'm sorry, I can't even remember who did that at this point. But this is, the reason I derailed off of me talking about my reviews is because one of the ones I've already got filmed that I'm going to be posting soon is Oud Mineral. I love this fragrance. I just don't wear it very often. But now that the summer's here, I'm going to start doing that pretty soon. But yeah, Myrtle Beach and Outer Banks. So me living in North Carolina, we normally drive down to like Curry Beach or like Carolina Beach for the day. That's mostly what we do. We know. By the way, just throwing this out there, super happy that I've got you guys watching who are even in America. I love having my fans and buddies who are from, like Sammy, one of my good buddies. He's not here today, but he's one of my good friends from Scotland. And I've got people who are from India and stuff like that. I love having people around the world. I got a couple buddies coming here from Australia, from Germany and stuff like that. I love when those guys are here. But to all my people who are here in America, it's really cool. You guys are the first people, this whole group we got going on here, who I get to connect with, who know places that I'm from and places that I go to and stuff like that. But yeah, Ocean Isle and all that stuff. By the way, just checking what time it is, guys, because I am going to be jumping off here soon. But never been to Six Flags. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Carowinds, and you know what that is. But yeah, being here in North Carolina, especially towards central North Carolina, it's really fun to be able to travel out to the ocean and just go anytime. Next Wednesday, me and my wife are going to be doing that as a celebration for my birthday. I think if she had to work on my actual birthday on Sunday, next Wednesday, we're going down to Curry Beach and going to have a good time. It's really cool to be able to picture the places being talked about. It is, because that never happens for me. In Florida, that is. They say it's tropical paradise. You know what's really funny? So like I said to you when we very first talked, pretty much, I've never been to Florida, but I do intend to want to check it out someday and actually see what it's all about. I know people have mixed feelings about it or whatever, but I'd like to at least see what the beaches are really like down there and probably chuckle at all the people who've, no offense to anybody like Redbeard. I don't know if you've gotten lip injections before, but to anybody who's had cosmetic work done, it'd be funny to get a little chuckle out of seeing all that down there. Heading to Beaufort Friday, got to ride our new jet ski. Well, dude, I hope you have a whole lot of fun with that. Best friend lives in North Carolina. I've not heard of that business before, but I could check it out. And pretty cool down here. Well, you know what? Like I said, maybe someday I'll come down to Florida and we can hang out and like actually have a good conversation. I went to Kissimmee, Florida, but that's all. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, but Kissimmee, Florida, that sounds very funny. So no offense to anybody who's from there, but Kissimmee. But yeah, being from North Carolina honestly is pretty cool. It's so funny how many people, especially where I live, come here from like New York and stuff. No offense to anybody who's from New York who comes through here, but like straight up, me and my father-in-law. So my wife is originally from Pennsylvania. Her family came here from Butler, Pennsylvania, and she grew up near Pittsburgh. And so my father-in-law, for some strange reason, people from Pennsylvania don't know what they want to sound like. Being completely honest with you guys, if you go out to Philadelphia, people seem like they're like the reject. No offense. I'm so sorry if anybody gets upset, but people from Philly sound like rejects from Massachusetts. They have that very strange, funny kind of Northeast or whatever accent. And then people from the Pittsburgh area, they just don't know what they want to be. You're either mega Amish or you sound like you wanted to be from the Bronx, New York. And I don't know what that is. Now, my father-in-law, his mom's actually from Italy. His mom and dad were actually like born and raised until they were moved to America. My father-in-law, my wife's dad, he looks like a little Italian man, even though he himself was raised in Butler, Pennsylvania. But my wife's grandparents on her dad's side were originally from Rome and somewhere else. I can't remember where else, but they're originally from Italy. So I think they pronounce it kissing. That is funny. Redbeard sounds like he wrestles them gators for fun. Oh, of course he does. If you guys don't know this, he totally does that for fun. Assalamu alaikum. I don't remember what I'm supposed to say back to that. But thank you so much for being here, and God bless you, Red Velvet. If you got any questions, you want to talk about anything, please. Holding you down from Ohio here, from Cleveland. So one of my other good buddies who I actually unfortunately need to talk to because we haven't talked in a while, he's also from Ohio. He's originally from Dayton, I think. And then he lived near Butler for a while himself, which was ironic. But yeah, you got to take them gators down so the rest of us are safe when we go swim in the water. Disney World. I've also never been to Disney World, anything like that. I used to want to when I was a kid, but I kind of left that behind. But yeah, Pittsburgh, like I said, I haven't even personally been. My wife wants to go up there and do the family reunion and stuff, and you think after all these years we would have done that. But yeah, we haven't done that. Yeah, he does beat them Gators. But like I said, it's just so funny to see people from up north and they have their own different accents and stuff. But you guys have not personally experienced me. Then they would take me down. No, they wouldn't. You give them an arm wrestle. You look like you're probably pretty strong. But yeah, where I'm from, like I said, when you guys don't see me here, like on these streams, I sound like hardly understandable sometimes, like a little too country, especially when I'm around my dad. So I'm going to show you guys a photo at some point. But my dad, who's been working for Walmart for 30 years now, wonderful, wonderful man. But my dad looks just like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Now, if he was watching this live stream, he'd be very upset to hear me say that. But it's true. My dad has always, since before I was born, looked like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He looks just like Christopher Lloyd in that movie. To be more specific, now he looks more like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He used to look like Christopher Lloyd in Dennis the Menace. But I love my dad. He's not the most handsome person in the world, but he is a very kind, very wonderful man, very hardworking and loving man. But basically, yeah, my dad, when you hear him talk, it's really hard to understand him sometimes because he's so country. It's insane. Hit them with the suplex. That's right. You got to take them things down. I'm a nerd and I love Disney videos. I grew up. So like I said, I've never been to Disney before myself, but I did grow up watching like mostly Disney stuff my entire life. I love like The Great Mouse Detective. And I don't remember if American Tail, Fievel Goes West is Disney or not, but I love that. But I think it's a girl thing. My dad definitely sounds like a redneck too. Alan Jackson is his prime. That'd be cool to see that dude. But so I also, I don't know if you guys like country music. If any of you guys are a country fan, by the way, again, just like these live streams can always get super random. Any of you guys who might like country music, if you do, and you like that older sound, if you like that like Alan Jackson type of feel, but a little bit even more new, please, if you haven't heard of him yet, which I'm sure you have, check out Zach Top. I don't know if you guys know who Zach Top is, but for the love of God, check out Zach Top if you want to hear some, even if you don't know if you like country music or not. If you get the chance, look that dude up because I love that dude. Out in the middle of nowhere from Mississippi. Yeah, see, here's the funny thing. I haven't heard of him. Please check out Zach Top as soon as you get a chance. I think it's Zach with an H. Z-A-C-H. I'm not sure. I'm a metal man. Well, I'll listen to it all. By the way, if you guys ever want to, you're more than welcome to as well suggest like music that you guys are into. Let me see what time it is. Make a mental note, exact top. Absolutely. And I think it's top with 2 P's, but I'm not sure. But either way, when you look it up, it'll come up because the dude's like really huge now. But I'm not sure. I'm going to stop here in just a minute and cut the stream. 10:44. Okay, you know what? That actually works. So based off what time it is, I'm going to try to take this thing all the way to 3 hours. So if you guys got more questions or we're just going to keep talking like we have been right now, it doesn't look like a lot of people are going to come through to talk about more about fragrances and stuff like that. Listen, here's my number one Got to Go by Metallica. Metallica is great, very classic. I don't listen to as much classic metal and stuff like I used to. These days, like me and my wife, we went to see, and I got to do the VIP thing. After we went to Germany, it even connected us even more to one of my favorite German bands. They're a newer band. They're pretty heavy for a lot of people. They're called Unprocessed. And, but they're like melodic heavy. They do like, the guitar player and singer, Manuel. That's one of the like current ranked best guitar players in the world. Really awesome jazzy metal stuff he does. If you've ever heard of them, but definitely check them out if you feel like it. But we got to do the VIP with them when their last self-produced album came out before they started exploding. It was really neat to get to talk with them and meet them and stuff. So that's just a random fact. Same time zone as you. Yes, I am. What's my wife's favorite scent? I actually answer that in just a second. I'm into rap and hip hop. That's really cool too. I don't listen to as much American rap as I used to because, to be honest, I like classic 90s hip hop and stuff, earlier stuff, even late 80s when it was first starting. I don't like a lot of new stuff only because, no offense to anybody who does, I love an incredible amount of Christian rap. If you guys know who Forrest Frank is, check out Forrest Frank. He's a Christian hip hop, occasional rap, new wave type stuff. So my wife calls it new age rap, not like new age spirituality, nothing against anybody, but more like just like it's got that newer indie kind of feel to it. So check out Forrest Frank, Wu-Tang, super awesome. You like Forrest Frank. Forrest Frank is, in fact, fantastic. That's cool that you know who he is. But yeah, I love a lot of stuff like that. But I also listen to, like, there's a bunch of French rappers that I love, Middle Eastern rappers, like Egyptian rappers, like Marwan Musa. I love people. I have a handful of Japanese rappers, German rappers, and stuff like Apasha. There's a lot of people I like to listen to. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, my friends at Sonic right now in Ohio, they're a week-long concert. Is that Sonic? I'm not sure what that is. But oh yeah, real quick, I'll answer you what my wife's favorite fragrance is. So that's actually a tough one. If you mean for her, my wife's favorite fragrance is either the Green Stravaganza for women is one of my wife's favorite fragrances, and as well, she really likes the Black Opium. She likes this a lot. She thinks this is one of her favorite fragrances, but her favorite is one of two things. Her favorite smell, for her, is mixing Green Stravaganza with women's Versace Eros. And then she also loves mixing the Black Opium with Reflections by Amouage. Those are my wife's absolute favorites that she wears. As for, let me see what you said. A lot of people have seen me talking about. Yeah, let me see real quick. If you're talking about what for her to wear and also what she likes for me to wear, and my wife is a big mixer. She doesn't hardly ever wear just one fragrance. She likes combining them. I'm waiting to start checking out Ex Nihilo. You know what? I've been wanting to do that too. Haven't done it myself though just yet, but they are very expensive. They are pretty up there. But Blue Talisman, that's something I'd like to try. But so my wife's favorite fragrance on me, that's a tough one. Because to this day, the Eros Parfum, sorry. To this day, you're right, create your own signature scent. Eros Parfum is one of my wife's favorites. She loves Sauvage Elixir. This has always been one of my wife's absolute favorites. So Jean Paul Gaultier's La Merle Elixir, Jean Paul Gaultier's La Beau Parfum, the Sauvage Elixir, and then the Eros Parfum, and then Reflections. These are like my wife's absolute, positively goes cuckoo puffs, favorite fragrances. She loves the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue series. Pretty much all of them. Like if it came down to like real favorites, that's pretty much where she sticks. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to mention. So I'm throwing this out there, but none of you guys would ever spend the money on this for this reason. But because my wife is still learning more and more about fragrances, she knows a lot more than a normal person does. And because she's still learning more about fragrances, but hold on, yeah, they are expensive, just like your favorite Louis Vuitton fragrance. Absolutely. Oh gosh. Don't even get me started about them freaking Louis Vuitton fragrances. Every TikTok influencer right now is pushing those so hard. It's sickening. Just throwing this out there again. No offense to anyone. But we're about to get into fragrances for a little bit longer right now. Louis Vuitton fragrances, meh, they are a waste of money. Sorry, but that's just how I feel about them. I love that you can hear the questions about what she likes with hesitation. Yeah, absolutely. I really do. I think my buddy Redbeard likes to really stir that pot because he knows how I feel about those. Again, not against anybody who likes the Louis Vuitton fragrances, but I'm just throwing this out there. I'll say to the cows come home, the money that it costs for what you get out of them, I don't give a crap. People want to say they're great. That's just me. Now, don't get me wrong. There are ones like Imagination and Midnight Swim that smell great, okay? They smell great, but they just don't perform the way I would like. Chanel L'Homme Homme Sport Eau Extreme. I have tried that. I think it's a pretty nice little fragrance because it's a cheaper price range. You can get it for a discount. Yeah, but overall, don't last. But this right here, you guys, Baccarat Rouge, the Extrait de Parfum. My wife loves this. The Extrait de Parfum Baccarat Rouge. I hate that she loves this. Not really. I love it because I don't ever wear it. Like Maison Francis Kirkjohn, some of my favorite fragrances in the world. But what? I can love your faith, how interactive with the chat you are. Hey man, I love you too, brother, and I really appreciate you being here so much. All of you guys, like I said, that's my whole thing. I literally do not give a crap. I care in the sense that it'd be cool for me. But even if I ever get 1 million subscribers and my videos are blowing off the hinges, first and foremost, all you guys have been here from the start. You're always going to mean the world to me. So no matter what happens going forwards, all that really matters to me is the people who are part of this growth and stuff, and even people who come along the way. Even if I ever get millions of views and millions of subscribers and all that stuff, no matter what's going on, even if one day you guys see me streaming like this from like hanging out like back in Munich or hanging out in Tokyo, some Osaka, even if you guys see me doing that, I'm always going to be talking to you guys just like I am now. It might be a lot harder to keep up with the comments if stuff ever started really going off like that. But again, there's never going to come a time when I'm not going to love talking with you guys as much as I can. I can't stand watching when people do live streams and they just ignore the comments. Like, get over yourself. That's not how we're supposed to do things. We're supposed to be as grateful as we can be that you guys are here, right? Us content creators, it don't matter how big or small you are. I'm sorry, forgive me. This is not very godly of me, but you're a piece of junk. If you let it get to your head and you stop remembering to care about the people who are watching and supporting you, I'm sorry, you don't deserve it. But I hate that she loves this, has me cracking up. No, seriously, but I love you guys so much. But yeah, my wife loves this, and she understands how much this is. She seriously does. So she doesn't run through it or anything like that, but it makes me happy because it makes me think about her. But again, she's very aware that she has to barely ever use this because unless I start making a lot of money off this channel, there's no way I'm going to be able to replace this. Because I don't know if you guys know, but the Baccarat Rouge, it's not like the worst thing ever. I've seen fragrances that cost, so to give you an idea, on FragranceNet, so a discounter site, to get the 6.8 of the Extrait de Parfum, it's like $750, something like that. So that's a lot of money. It's almost $1,000. But I've said this before, but I'll say this again. A really amazing fragrance that I love telling people about because it actually truly is awesome is Ardent by Boadicea de Victorious. Beautiful saffron vanilla rose. It's a powerful fragrance that lasts forever. But this one is like full price, like $250, $300. On discounters, you can get it for like $198, $200. But this same company, Boadicea Victorious, also makes a fragrance called what is it? It's blue something. I think it's like topaz or something like that. Either way, on discounters, 100 ml is $690. So way more expensive. FragranceNet or Joma Shop. For me, FragranceNet, because to be honest with you guys, by the way, you love my vibe. I appreciate you, Kelsey. I love your vibe too, and I appreciate you here. But I'm serious. Like, hold on. Let me see what Michael Hanna had to say. Tried the new reformulated Dolce & Gabbana light blue. So I have. Not blue sapphire. So blue sapphire is, oh, you know what? You're right. Blue sapphire, because blue jasmine, I kept thinking about blue jasmine. This is one of my wife's other fragrances that she has now. But so the new, what do you call it? The new Dolce & Gabbana light blue, it actually is really cool. The new reformulation, I like it. I prefer the original, but the new one does have more strength to it. And even though it's still eau de toilette, for any of you guys who haven't seen, the new bottle is pretty neat, although still I prefer the old one. I like the rounder shape. But I got to smell it a couple times now. So if you get a chance, go check it out because it's pretty cool. My mom does Scentbird, but she keeps trying to push it on me, but I haven't done it myself. But let me see here. So I prefer FragranceNet just because of better shipping, faster, and I trust them. I've used them a lot for like half of my collection. If you ever want to get some niche fragrances, check out Afterpay. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, definitely, you can use that if you would like to. If you would like to use stuff like Afterpay, if you're responsible about it, of course. But definitely easy. Listen to my buddy here giving some advice. But yeah, Joma Shop from what I hear doesn't have the best shipping in the world, but that's just what I've heard. But you're right, it is. Check out Bodicea. They have some incredible fragrances, super powerful, but just throwing this out there, they are extremely expensive. I use Fragrance by Canada, love them with a passion. I had to check that out. Check out Electimus, Sister of Bodicea. I will have to check that out because it might be pretty good. It might be a pretty good price as well. But yeah, my wife, she took this the other day when she had no idea how expensive this was. We were about to go somewhere. This was like a month ago or so. She didn't know yet because I hadn't really told her just how much Baccarat Rouge Extrait de Parfum is. So I walked in here and she was like, "Ooh, I love this one. I'm gonna put this on." And then she sprayed her hair like 3 times, and I was like, first and foremost, you got to stop immediately because you are like throwing dollars away by doing this right now. She started laughing and I was like, no, seriously. And I showed her how much it was. She's like, uh-oh. So she didn't hardly use any, as you can see. But still, she got to be very careful with this. But also, the thing about it was that she doesn't realize how strong this is either, because this is the Extrait de Parfum. And I will tell you, there are a lot of overhyped fragrances in this world. But just like how if somebody ever makes fun of Sauvage Elixir, they're an idiot, because Sauvage Elixir, even if you don't like the smell, you cannot say it's not powerful. If you've got a Sauvage Elixir that doesn't just bleed all the way to India, you didn't get Sauvage Elixir. But with this one is ridiculous by actually how powerful it is. So if you like this scent, which again, it's like fir and saffron and some resinous materials that give it like a certain fruity brightness, it isn't my style for me, but I do love this smell. And like I said, it makes me think of my wife, but she just didn't understand that when she had put like 6 sprays of this on, I'm not joking, because she did this before we went to my great aunt's funeral. And it was coming off of her so much. It's like I could smell her from across the church when I went to go use the bathroom, was coming back out. And I know that everybody in there was like, wow, this church smells really nice today. And they had no idea that it was because somebody decided to take like $120 bath, basically. That's an exaggeration, but she was really going to town. So it is nice, but not for, yeah, it's just not my thing. But, I like it, and I like it on her. I got Untold by Armaf. Hey, I really want to know. So I know this is going to sound funny, but that fragrance that I told you my buddy Sam got for me, so I'm giving him this one because I don't wear this. So is Untold good? Please tell me, Jonathan, is it good? Because that's what he got for me. I saw reviews. The reviews sink. By the way, I'm sorry if this is too loud. I just realized I'm kind of getting loud because I'm getting excited talking with you guys. Oh, that makes me so excited, Jonathan. Thank you for letting me know that, because I'm super excited about Untold getting here. I don't know if you've personally ever smelled the original. I don't know how close it is, but first and foremost, letting you guys know I'm going to do that comparison video because it seems like it'll do pretty good for my views as well. But I'm excited to do the smell because Untold I saw has good performance. So Jonathan, I'm just wondering, does it have good performance? Does Untold have good performance? My wife loves it as well. I have the original as well. They're pretty spot on. Oh, that makes me so excited because as well, if it's that good, my wife might actually be able to start drowning herself in that Baccarat scent she loves so much. But as well, I was just wondering, like, does it really perform as good as people are saying it does? Because there's some people saying it's fantastic. But yeah, like I said, this is nice, but Sam's going to really love this. His girlfriend already is freaking out because he's getting this because she's cray about it. I can still smell it the next morning. Oh, it makes me so excited. Because like I said, Armaf actually does a really good job at making fragrances, and I hate that I didn't care about them as much as I did before. But with that being said, we've got just a couple more minutes that we're going to be doing this. I just want to take the time to tell you guys that I thank you so much for being here. Scratch and sniff option. You know what? I'm going to do what I was going to talk about earlier. I said earlier that I think I'm going to start, I don't ever want to be fake. So the community that I'm building here, like I said, even if I get thousands and thousands of even if I get millions of subscribers someday, I'm still always going to be exactly as I am right now. And I promise you guys that I'm going to keep myself in check for the reason that me and our good buddy John Tay at work just yesterday were talking about how too many YouTubers that we love and look up to, as they started growing, they got too ahead of themselves and they started becoming disrespectful to fans, becoming a fool of themselves. So I'm going to end this with a prayer here in a second, if that's okay with you guys. I mean, even if it's not, again, I'm going to do it anyway. But I want you guys all to be part of this. And again, if people come through and they don't like it, whatever, that's fine. What's your thoughts on Mancera Instant Crush versus Baccarat? So being straight up, dude, straight up, Instant Crush is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like, I love Instant Crush. I got Mancera's down here, even though we didn't talk about them during this time. I love Instant Crush, but I don't have it anymore. Because Sam, the same guy that I'm about to give this away to, I think you could go with Instant Crush. Yeah, it's not identical, but it is good. Instant Crush will get the job done. It smells nice enough. It's powerful. I don't know if you guys who also have tried Instant Crush have smelled it and like experienced other people tell you about it. But when Sam wears Instant Crush to work, he does like 5 sprays or 6 sprays. When Sam wears Instant Crush to work, I kid you not, you can smell this guy. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. You can smell Instant Crush on him at my job from about 15, 16 feet away. And he does like 5 or 6 sprays. So Mancera's make incredible fragrances. They're very strong. Those are some of the ones that's more in that almost designer range, like that I feel comfortable thinking of as like mildly cheaper fragrances. They're not as expensive. They are expensive as a lot of other designers, but they're not as much. So, one good thing about Mancera and Montel is they're low. I haven't never tried any Montel fragrances, by the way. So, yeah, they're like Mancera is like a designer level niche brand, designer priced niche brand. But with that being said, again, by the way, just so you guys know, and again, I didn't really get to explain thoroughly my true beliefs earlier, like how I stand. So yes, I am a Christian. So that's the way I work. I don't like using that word a lot in today's time because, like I said, unfortunately, most people take that in the wrong direction. If you say that, they immediately think that you're the guy who stands on the corner and screams through the megaphone. No, I do not approve of everything everyone does. There's a lot of things in this world today that I disagree with, as far as, and I can see it is a detriment to this world. Just like people who are far into like religious extremism, destroying this world and hurting people and harming people physically in the name of God. That's wrong. But it has happened all throughout history. But on the flip side, there's plenty of far overly liberal things, of course, or even what have you, that's really not good for this world. I'm not going to talk about those specific stuff. That's one thing I won't touch during my live streams or anywhere publicly, because I don't want to talk about certain things that can really potentially wedge people out from ever having a conversation with me. And after having a life of knowing people of all walks of life from all over the place, I can promise you, if you speak aggressively up front about certain subjects that are very sensitive subjects, no matter if it's a conservative or a liberal person, you can shut a lot of people out from having a conversation with you right up front. So again, if you ever want to talk to people about life and God and stuff like that, just remember, be very careful about the way you approach people and do it the way that Jesus did. So with that being said, there's a lot of stuff I didn't get a chance to talk about, but we will do that at some point in time in the future. There's a lot of stuff about my personal stances and things like that, or even as they're constantly, developing and everything, the more like every day, like what I'm going to literally do after we get off of here is go to Barnes & Noble, get my little London Fog latte like a little prissy boy, and I'm going to sit with my study Bible and my other NRSV Bible that I have, and I'm going to read for a couple hours. That's what I'm going to do with my day off. I used to run a ministry on YouTube to this day. By the way, while I'm talking, you guys are more than welcome to continue to comment, talk about other stuff before I get back to the original stuff. But just letting you go, I used to do a YouTube ministry for quite some time with a friend of mine after I first got sober. And you'll see every now and then he comments from the account, giving me support. It's called The Lost Lambs. I don't do it anymore. But I literally used to just have a YouTube set aside for that. And it was just me. And we used to go to some churches and speak and stuff like that. So very important to me. But I've had a lot of learning and growth and stuff since then. I hate to say this, but I used to have a lot of questions and conflictions, but my dog got sick and pray. God, and I turned my life over. Absolutely. I just talk about my dad told me when I was a kid. So that's the whole thing. People are all over the place with their thoughts and their experiences. And that's the world that we live in. You got to think about and care about the way people feel and how you approach them. So with that being said, because it comes to an argument. It absolutely does. So Joma Shop has W prices. Thank you for saying that, by the way. I'm glad to know that because, again, I want people to be able to use whatever websites they want. But with that being said, and if anybody wants to start being hateful in the comments, just know that it's going to get shut down pretty fast. But I'm about to pray with you guys real fast. Is everybody cool with that? If anybody wants to leave between then, that's more than welcome. I'm not ending the stream just yet. I'm going to end it in a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to go. But with that being said, anybody want to comment or have anything to say before I do this real quick? I use Amazon. Pray for me. Go ahead. All right. Well, here we go. You guys bow your heads, whatever. You don't have to overseas. You're welcome. But yeah, I'm about to pray real quick. Bow your heads if you want to, or you can just keep watching, but it might be a little strange, whatever. So, dear Father, dear God, Lord in heaven, thank you for this day with these people who are watching. God, I thank you for welcoming me into a situation where I got to change my life with your guidance. And I got these beautiful, wonderful people here, whether we agree or disagree on things. We get to have this time together. It means the world to me because there's a time when I literally was almost gone from this world and directly in your presence over and over again. But you never let that come to fruition like you had so many more plans going. We don't know why some people stay. We don't know why some people go. There's so much we'll never understand, but a lot comes down to us also having our own choices. And because of some decisions that I was freely allowed to make and welcome through your guidance, I got these people here with me right now. We get to talk. We get to love each other. And I'm just thankful to be blessed by this. So I thank you, God, for your love, your endless grace and mercy to guide us and show us should we seek after that wisdom and that knowledge of how to be, how to follow you, and especially for love being the core of it all. So we need correction. We need so much more. But at the end of the day, the core comes down to love and community, and you made us for that, and it's so special. So getting to be here today with these people talking to me through my phone and you being present with us, I believe that you are. I thank you. I pray for their healing. I pray for their growth, their love, their development. I pray that they have peace in their heart. If they're going through anything that I don't know anything about, if they're going through stuff that I don't understand, but you do, I just lift them up to you. I lift my issues and my troubles and my struggles up to you. And I love you with all my heart, God. Thank you for my wife. Thank you for my family. Thank you for every day I get to wake up. So I don't know what's going to happen next with this channel. I don't know what's going to happen next in life as a whole. But at the end of the day, through my frustrations and my feelings, I'm just glad to be here. And I hope to show you that more. And I hope to be more grateful. I hope we all can learn to just be more grateful through the pain and through the good. So thank you for these people. Bless each and every one of them, Lord. I ask you, please, and in the name of Jesus, I thank you for your sacrifice. I thank you for your teaching. And I thank you for every moment of my life and the ones around us. In your name, Jesus, amen. And if there's anything anybody else out there wants to say, if there's anything you guys got, like, that you personally want to head down, eyes closed. Yeah, again, like, if there's anything you guys want to pray about, you're welcome to do it. I know that you're not here with me. Like, I can't hear you directly, but I thank you guys with all my heart for being here. Like I said, I'm not ending the stream just yet, but I am in a few minutes. But yeah, prayer is extremely important. I am trying to learn more and more again about how I would personally want to spend my time in prayer in my daily life. But, you know, it's important you take time for people who just think of it as meditation. I at least encourage you, if nothing else, to do that. So maybe one way or another, we can reach people by all doing this as a community together. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys so very much. So double tap. Thank you for continuously giving me your support and like for being here. It means the world to me. So like I said, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with this channel, but one thing I know for sure is I got you guys, and it means the world to me. So I guess I am going to go ahead and go. But between now, again, if you guys feel like going and watching my other videos, I appreciate that. If you guys want to watch and comment and leave thoughts, whatever, it means the world to me. But I will see you guys potentially Saturday, maybe not this weekend, but I am going to start, like I said, doing Saturdays and Sundays. But every Wednesday, I'll be here with you guys, whoever gets the chance. And then on the weekends as well. Thank you. Thank you for your time and wisdom. I appreciate you guys. And when my wife gets off, we are going to go visit my grandma this evening because, again, she passed at any moment. I hate that I didn't think to remember to bring it up during the prayer, but it's like not like I already haven't done it regardless. Like God knows. So what time do you start on Wednesday? It really goes up in the air. So again, southeast U.S. time. I typically start around, it could be anywhere between 6 a.m. or like 8 or 9, like I think I did today. So it just depends on when I've got the time. But after I drop my wife off, unless she drove herself, it'll be a little bit earlier. So today, definitely. But I'm so sorry for the struggle. Absolutely, though, you are completely correct. So I'm Andrew Douglas Lane. That's my real last name, Andrew Douglas Lane, or Douglas Moon. Using my middle name and stuff. That's the channel, Douglas Moon. So I thank you guys so much for being here. Redbeard, Kelsey, RIP, everybody, every single one of you guys who've been here. It means the world to me. I appreciate it, and I thank you. And I definitely will be seeing you guys in the future, and just hopefully interact with you guys more. So before I go, is there anything else you guys want to know? Is there any other questions before I jump off of here in this stream? So, by the way, we hit 3 hours. That's awesome. I always love hitting 3 hours. Have a great day. I hope you do too. Like I said, any other fragrance questions or life questions you guys got before I get out of here? Going to your page to watch your video. That means so much to me. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Well, I guess we're doing pretty good at this point. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys all next time. Boop, boop, and boop, boop.